Friday, September 26th. The first in the series, Sillivan Storm, Lovett. Another professional boxer for you and children. Ladies and gentlemen, those who are by the bar and who have drinks in their hand, we appreciate it if you take a seat. You're following the area, we know that you're joining with hospitality. Those who have a drink, please take a table or a seat and don't stand just near the bar because someone created it. Thank you for being alive.
Area of Melbourne, and tonight we have five professional fights on the card, promoted by Stuart Duncan, the very first of the series, the Southern Storm series, promoted by DMS Boxing. With me tonight in the commentary panel is the former super featherweight champion of the world, Barry Michael, and we'll go immediately to our first fight, and our ring announcer tonight is Mr. Howard Lee.
Thank you, Brad McCarthy. Ladies and gentlemen, our commentary team tonight, headed by the Australian National Boxing Federation President, Mr. Brad McCarthy from Queensland, and would you give a very warm welcome to a man who commentated on the Anthony Mundine, Antoine Eccles, WBA Super Middleweight Championship of the World, Melbourne's own. He's very proud. He was a man, a pioneer, Mr. Barry Boy Michael. Give Barry Boy Michael a very warm welcome to ringside. Ladies and gentlemen, a tremendous crowd in. What a great occasion. The first time for 30 years, AFL Grand Final Eve, we've had a professional boxing show in Melbourne. So congratulations to Stuart Duncan, DMS, Duncan Management Services, joining forces with Simmons, Holmes, and a new sponsor, Mark Wyatt's Super Finish. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 action-packed bouts, climaxing with the Super Middleweight Championship of Victoria between the challenger, Daniel Poppy Lovett from down Cranbourne Way. And he goes in against the defending champion all the way from Santiago, Chile, now living in Springvale, Victoria, Sergio Lancifilo. That's our main event, 8 rounds of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, the first in DMS, Duncan Management Services, Southern Storm Series. Another Friday night in your city, Friday Night Fights, your boxing authority. Before we get rolling with our first bout in the junior featherweight division, how about a warm welcome for one of our most decorated, charismatic fighters. We'll be talking with him during the show, just back from Japan. Now he is the IBF Pan-Pacific Middleweight Champion. He is the 3 times Aussie Professional Champion. He is, ladies and gentlemen, the new OPBF Champion. Would you welcome the King, Sam Sullivan. He captured Japan on September 7th. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing in the junior featherweight division. When the bell tolls, your man in charge of the action, Mr. Bryce Birtwhistle. Judges assigned under the 10-point must system. Ladies and gentlemen, legendary Gus Mercurio, Mr. Andrew Campbell, and Ms. Anika Williams. Your timekeeper to the bell, Damien Membry. Your ringside position, Dr. Peter Lewis, representative professional boxing and combat sports board of Victoria. Mr. Noel Sharp, Koroyd champion, Bob Todd, Malcolm McGuinness, and 2 times Aussie champ, Scott Brower. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing in the junior featherweight or super bantamweight division. Would you welcome on my right, occupying the blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, from Cranbourne, Victoria, in memory of Harry Martin, with Steve Kerr in the corner and Scott Barlas, at 24 years of age, tonight making his professional debut in amateur boxing, a 2-time Victorian champion. 41 amateur fights, 31 wins. He tipped the scales last night at the Stanford Hotel at 51.70 kilograms, where he confronts with a touch of gold and red. With a great name, a great sporting name, will you welcome Shane Brown? And across the ring with Steve Irvine, joining David the Rock Hedgecock from Avondale Heights, Victoria, right across in the west. Victorian bantamweight and Australian junior bantamweight champion, returning to the ring after 2.5 years out of boxing. Now working under Stuart Duncan management of the mighty Underworld. He tipped the scales at 54 kilograms, a fight record of 7 bouts, 4 wins, 3 losses, 4 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, wearing the familiar blue with a touch of white, with the name Tony, on the front. Will you welcome Tony Pappa? 4 rounds of boxing. Price is all yours. Let's get it on.
Okay, gentlemen, I've spoken to you both. You got no questions? No questions from Luke? Alright, listen to my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Alright, watch the low blow.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at the Dandenong
Your
basket.
official cameraman at ringside, Mr. Willie Cannon, World of Boxing.
Over 4 3-minute rounds. In the blue shorts, we're looking at the former Australian junior bantamweight champion, Tony Pappa. In the black shorts, he comes out very, very fast, Shane Brock. As I said a little earlier, joining me in the commentary panel is the former super featherweight champion of the world, former Australian champion, former Commonwealth champion, none other than the best of them all, Barry Bourne-Michael. Barry, how are you, mate?
Mate, great, Brad. Great to be here. And I'll tell you what, this Shane Brock certainly means business. Came out firing with both hands. Tony Pappa just got on target with a good right hand.
He went straight at Tony Pappa there. Pappa certainly, on paper, would have to be the the favourite here, Barry, because he's vast experience. Hasn't had a fight since April the 6th in the year 2001 when he defeated Ahmed Popol at Collingwood Town Hall.
Yep, no, Tony's got the championship experience. Brock's been, pretty seasoned amateur himself with 45 amateur fights, making his pro debut. And they say his best shots are left whip, but I'll tell you what, Tony Pappa's sunk a few good left whips into him in this opening minute or so.
Very neat, very composed, Tony Pappa, former junior bantamweight champion of Australia. Never actually lost the fight, never actually lost the title in the ring. The Australian National Boxing Federation declared the title over. There's a big overhand right by Shane Brock there. This good left hand by Pappa again.
This is serious business. These guys are really getting stuck into each other.
That was a big right hand, Barry. That right hand by Shane Brock comes over at a blistering pace.
Lovely overhand right, mate. He's got good pace, good work rate, Shane Brock.
As an amateur, 45 amateur fights here. He's got Pappa in trouble. He's backing him up under the ropes. He goes to the body of Shane Brock.
Good body punching from Shane Brock.
Pappa comes back with a couple of left hooks. Nice little short uppercut.
Mate, that's one thing about these little guys. They really do throw some punches.
The hand speed, Barry Michael.
There's that overhand right again from Brock. He's got a lovely overhand right. Tried it again. What an opening round.
What a tremendous fight. This is to start our show here. Nice uppercut, left hook by Tony Pappa. His experience, I think, will certainly leave him in good stead. By Shane Brock. Also joining us in the commentary position tonight is Secretary of the Australian National Boxing Federation, Mr. Frank Hadley, travelled all the way over from Europe in South Australia. Frank, welcome to Dandenong.
Thank you, Brad.
How are you enjoying the fights here so far tonight?
What a terrific opening bout. I mean, 2 really game boxers. Tony Pappa we know all about, and Shane Brock. I mean, what an effort.
Exactly, very tough pro debut, and he really looks vicious here. He's whipping and hooking well.
Tony Pappa, the far more experienced of the two, copped a lot of shots in this opening round. There's a lot of leather being thrown here in this opening round.
Traditionally in Australia, we don't have any fighters under 60 kilograms, and of course, Tony Pappa came in a little bit heavy last night, 53.5 kilos, and Shane Brock came in at 51.7. They had actually agreed on 52, and there's a nasty little cut to the right eye of Tony Pappa as the blow goes to the end of the first round, and that's a very hard round to score, Barry Michael.
It was a seesawing round. I think the way I look at it, you probably go with Shane Brock. His work rate, he opened the fight fast, and he finished the work the first round better. Tony Pappa was really effective with some of his body shots and his hooks about the middle stage of the round, but I think overall Brock probably just put a bit too much work in the opening rounds. But what a fantastic opening round.
And a tremendous start to this contest. The pace of the fight just didn't let up, and of course, if you look at it on paper, Tony Pappa 7 fights, 4 wins, 3 losses, 4 KOs, and of course Shane Brock making his pro debut. You have to favour Tony Pappa, but the novice, the young man who's at 45, actually amateur fights, a 3-time Victorian champion in the association, certainly took it up to the former Australian junior bantamweight champion. He did too, but we're talking about 4 3-minute rounds here, not 12-3, so you know it's going to suit Shane Brock with his high work rate as like in the amateurs. You know? Frank Hadley, the secretary of the Australian Boxing Federation, how did you see that first round?
Oh, it's very impressive. Very hard one to score for the judges, Brad. The body punching of Shane Brock, the speed, was very fantastic.
Certainly was. Pappa came back with some good punches. Certainly he was the neater puncher, Tony Pappa, Barry, I think, with his composure. But look, Brock working to the body again, hands up high. If he's a novice, boy, we're in good hands. That's for sure. You know, I mean, Brad, 45 amateur fights and, you know, ex-Australian amateur champion. I mean, that's pretty good credentials. He certainly knows his way around a ring. Born in Melbourne, lives in Cranbourne. Big right hand by Shane Brock again, certainly caught the attention of Tony Pappa.
Did it ever.
Double left hooks by Shane Brock. We're talking Shane Brock in the black shorts, Tony Pappa in the blue with the white band and striping. To his credit though, Tony Pappa hasn't had a fight for over a year, almost 18 months. He's changed trainers in the meantime, trained with the living legend Dave Hitchcock now, and he's had a bit of a break after his last fight, but he's a tremendous young man outside, an absolute gentleman outside the ring.
Gentleman, he's a terrific little fighter too. Look at some of these body shots. I mean,
he's going to fight it out, Barry.
Oh, look, for sure, this is going to be an absolute 4-round war.
And of course, I think Shane Brock, as referee Bryce Burke has a quick look at the cut on Tony Pappa. Calls Dr. Peter Lewis up to have a bit of a look at it.
It would be a pity to see this fight stop because it's such a cracker.
And that man in the neutral corner, Shane Brock, certainly making it to the crowd here. He's got a big following. Of course, we're in the southern area of Melbourne here in Dandenong. It's a terrific city. And of course, Cranbourne is just probably 15 minutes down the road, Barry, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, mate, it's we're a fair way out from the centre of Melbourne, but it is a fantastic venue in a real fight area. The Dandenong Basketball Centre.
And it's a terrific venue. Stuart Duncan, this is the very first series of fights here called Southern Storm at the Melbourne in the southern suburbs. What goes the work again on Pappa? With lefts and rights, a big right hand over the top. He's got Tony in all sorts of trouble at the moment. Left hooks again. He's trying to work on the eye. Pappa fights back, Barry.
What a fight for Tony Pappa after comeback. He's fighting a terrier here. Big shots from Tony Pappa too. Big punches been exchanged by both these little guys. Superb action.
And of course, Shane Brock actually has got all the punches. I saw he went over the top of Pappa's left hand there. Really knows what he's all about. Leaping left hook by Shane Brock. Gets a left hook. He's got him in trouble. And referee Bryce Burke whistle stops the fight. He stops the fight. And referee Bryce Burke whistle. Tony Pappa clearly out of the fight. He's got both eyes. I think he's going nowhere. Of course, Lantouris is a very, very good referee. An excellent judge. And he was hurt. Must have been getting pretty close near the end of the round too. But
you know, I think the doctor would have stopped on the corner, would have got the long cuts anyway at the end of the round.
Good sportsmanship for Shane Brock. Goes over and congratulates young Tony Pappa. We'll have to be disappointed, Tony.
What a terrific advert for Australian boxing.
Oh,
With that tremendous game fight as a great champion in Tony Pappa coming back and Shane Brock. What a debut. What a debut and what a debut of prospect.
So let me ask you, Tony has been around, he's fought the best of them, he's fought Todd Macklin, Johnny Binge, Jack Russell, picked Australian Bantamweight Championship, but Jack Russell, who was an absolute terrier in his day. Do you think there was just a little bit of win rust on behalf of Tony Pappa? Do you think that he could come back from this fight and maybe turn that around? I mean, I thought it was damaged, but that young man really took it up to him.
Yeah, look, Tony Pappa showed that he's really world class, but I mean, you know, they did have a head touch in the opening seconds of the first round, which I think caused the cut over the right eye. But I think, I just think Tony was probably a little underdone for a fight against someone with so much amateur experience who really came to fight.
Absolutely.
He was probably a little underdone, and he certainly needs to get back in the ring as soon as he can, but with those cuts he's going to be out for a while, I guess, now.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Barry Michael, and it's wonderful to see our promoter, Stuart Duncan, up consoling Tony Pappa here at ringside. Of course, Tony very disappointed, and of course, Stuart Duncan has gone up. It's great sportsmanship, and that goes to show a caring promoter when he goes up to his fighter and sort of says, hey, look, don't worry about it. You did it hard tonight. You got beaten, but look, let's go back to the drawing board. We'll come back again and hopefully try and turn it around next time.
Tony Pappa, he's still got a lot to offer the fight.
Absolutely.
He's a class little fighter.
As we go up to centre ring to our ring announcer, Mr. Howard Lee, for the official decision.
Thank you, Barry. Ladies and gentlemen, the contest stopped 2 minutes 4 seconds into round 2. Referee Bryce Whistle. There was a cut over Tony Pappa's eye. You took him across to the ring side position, Dr. Peter Lewis. Then the fight continued, and then you stopped it.
Yeah, there was a bit of concern with the first cut, but the doctor thought it was all right. Tony was having just a little bit of problem on that side, but when he sustained the second cut, it was just not one to look back there. It was pretty stopped. He was having blood coming down both sides of his face. We are on the side of safety.
Well stopped by Bryce Whistle. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner on debut, Shane Brock.
To the victor go the spoils.
Shane, congratulations, and you were telling me in the weigh-in last night you were a pastry cook, and what time do you have to get up tomorrow morning, or have you got grand final day off?
Grand final day off.
What time do you normally rise and shine?
4:30.
4:30 in the morning. Well, boxers normally run the streets at that time of day. When do you get fit in training?
Oh, well, with Steve, he's hard, and I've got to pay all the credit to him and the training over there. They push me as far as a real man can go. And I know Harry's up there. Thanks, Harry.
Okay, trainer Harry Mark. Shane Brock!
What a terrific sportsman, the young man. Humble, but so young, and I think tonight we're seeing a young Australian champion in the making, Barry.
Yeah, I think Harry, I couldn't agree with you more. He's got a very good future in front of him. You know, out of the amateurs with a good amateur pedigree of 45 fights, ripe and ready for the professional game. And what I like to see about a guy like a very novice in the professional game, he's such a ripper body puncher. Up and down, like he's continually going for the body of the head. Very impressed.
Excellent start for Shane Brock in his professional career, and Barry, I thought it was a tremendous effort to come out with the confidence that the young man displayed, and I think that he's going to go a long way. I'm sure that we'll hear a lot more of it.
Management Services in association with Simmons Homes and Mark Wyatt Super Finish. Welcome back for a super duper heavyweights. It's the big boys of professional boxing. 6 rounds of boxing, 3-minute duration per round. On grand finally, ladies and gentlemen, Southern Storm Series continues. Introducing first on my right, occupying the blue corner, from Patterson Lakes, Victoria, now part of Sting Fight Force, Michael Vugovic, training out of the Chelsea Gymnasium, brand new gym right on the Nepean Highway. In kickboxing, he's a 2-time Australian kickboxing champion at middleweight and super light heavyweight. 15 fights, 10 wins. Wearing black trunks a la Mike Tyson. Tonight tipping the scales at 89 kilograms. Would you welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Hunter, Stephen Charles. Stephen Charles. And across the ring on my left, occupying the red corner with Paul Layton, Ron Russell in the corner, former cruiserweight champion of Victoria. 15 fights, 8 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws and 1 no contest at the last Powerhouse show. 28 years of age, ladies and gentlemen, 86.50 kilograms, wearing Collingwood colours, co-appropriate, black and white. When you welcome, lights out, Nick Lantouris. Your judges at ringside, Gus Mercurio, Malcolm Boulder, Anita Williams. Your referee in charge of the action, Bryce Birtwhistle. King Arthur, good evening to you. Alpha Sakonis working the corner, world champ, kickboxer, working with Team Vugovic, Sting Fight Force. Mike Ryan, Fight Out Online, October 6th, the big launch.
And we're ready for action here for our second fight in the Southern Storm Series here at the fabulous Dandenong Basketball Centre. And referee Bryce Birtwhistle gets us underway. We're looking at Nick Lantouris in the black trunks with the white band and piping, and he goes straight at
Stephen Charles.
Stephen Charles.
Stephen Charles, obviously got a bit of ring experience, but doesn't look in exactly the best of condition, whereas Nick Lantouris does look a very, very fit physical specimen.
I spoke with Stephen Charles a little earlier on tonight. He's not fazed by Lantouris. Of course, Lantouris, much more experience, 16 fights, 8 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws, 3 KOs rather, and has been around for a long time. Got a clubbing right hand by Lantouris. He's a kickboxer, isn't he, Charles? He's got that very stand upwards, head up in the air a little bit there, Barry, but
he's got a kickboxing background, but I think he's also had amateur bouts, 16 amateur bouts. Oh, 16 kickboxing bouts, okay.
Yeah, 16 kickboxing bouts.
So this is his actual professional boxing debut.
Yeah. He certainly, as he said a little earlier on, he's not fazed by Nick Lantouris. He certainly holds his hands up very well, and
he is very relaxed. Nick Lantouris trying to get him in a headlock there at the moment.
Lantouris is not a renowned puncher, Barry, but of course when you look at the physical attributes, he's a taller in height and reach. Of course, 178 centimetres for our visitor Charles, and 184 centimetres.
Quite a good boxer, Nick Lantouris. I've watched him fight on a number of occasions, and he is a classy boxer. But I'll tell you what, Stephen Charles here is making him miss well, and he's very relaxed, that's for sure.
Could be a future in the sport for young Stephen Charles. Lives in Patterson Lakes, born in Chelsea. Here in beautiful downtown Victoria, Patterson Lakes, right on the beautiful Port Phillip Bay.
Great part of Melbourne. Lovely spot, Patterson Lakes.
Fabulous area.
Pretty ugly first round here. We're having a lot of wrestling and mauling at the moment. These guys aren't exactly, making a great fight. They're
well, plenty of respect there, Barry.
Struggling to get their range. And
big well hand by Lantouris, left hook. It was the left hook that did it, and he's in a lot of trouble, Charles. He's all over the shop. Stephen Charles, the fight's over. Bryce Birtwhistle's not going to let this go on as Malcolm Vugovic comes up in the ring and pulls her hope here. He's in all sorts of trouble. Good stoppage by Bryce.
Yeah, he was badly hurt. It was the left hook that I think did it. I think the right hand sort of grazed him, but the left hook, he really put him out of action there.
The first that he's ever reached any heights, but Lantouris' experience and of course his leader punching came to the fore. Beautiful little over right hand over the top.
As I said, he does put them together well, Lantouris, and he did look in a lot better physical condition. Although give Stephen Charles credit, he moved around okay there, he was nice and relaxed. But maybe he needs to go back and do a bit of homework, you know.
Certainly does, and when you get just a little bit fitter, get more kickboxing mode where he crouches up a little bit, so gets a little bit more sideways barrier and, loses a couple of pounds. I think this kid's got a good future in the sport. I mean, already got beaten easily, but you never know. I mean, a young fighter can come back from that, and I think he'll go very well.
Yes, he was very game fighter too, but he was going forward swinging, and you like boxers to go forward and make a fight, and he wasn't afraid to have a go.
Absolutely, Frank Hadley, it's a pleasure to have you all the way over here from South Australia, from Europe. The current National Secretary of the Australian National Boxing Federation, OPBF judge, travelled to Japan many times. Frank Hadley officiated on behalf of the Australian National Boxing Federation, and of course the very powerful and well respected OPBF. We've got our ring announcer, Mr. Howard Lee, for the official decision. Nick Lantouris wants to make it early night. He's ready to get out of the ring already, but I think Howard Lee wants to have a bit of a chat to him. And it's over to Mr. Howard Lee.
Ladies and gentlemen, by knockout, 2 minutes, 15 seconds into round one, your winner, Nick Lantouris. Nick, after some, what do we say, perplexing bouts recently, the Collingwood fight, and then of course the 25-second fight at the Powerhouse, it's nice to get back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, big controversies, but I'm happy I came with a win. I honestly, this fight was, they challenged me, so I didn't duck and we fought. But yeah.
What was the punch totally through? Was it a right hand?
I think it was a right hand. But yeah, all credit to him for coming into the ring with me. And hopefully I can get into something bigger, like maybe in the top 5 in Australia. We'll probably look into that. So,
okay, you're wearing Collingwood colours. You follow Collingwood, the AFL?
Tigers, mate.
Okay, congratulations. Nick Lantouris, a big winner here tonight. Well done.
Very good fighter he is, Danny Wilson from the Brisbane suburb of Wynnum. I'm sorry, Matt Short. He even looked like Danny Wilson.
Yeah, Matt Short.
But the striker, Matt Shaw, tremendous young fighter as we wait for his opponent. Barry, this concept that Stuart Duncan has come up with is a very, very good concept. It's called Southern Storm. We're in the southern areas of Melbourne, the southern districts of Melbourne.
And we actually have a storm tonight as well, which is pretty coincidental. But yeah, great idea. Stuart's a great supporter of boxing. It's a great idea to put the fights on here, I think.
Fast becoming one of the premier promoters in the country, Stuart Duncan. Not only here in Victoria, but certainly in the country. He's done, I think, now probably 5 or 6 shows now, and all with the success. Very hard-working man. He's a student of the sport, and he's ably backed up by his long-time dedicated sponsors. And I speak of Mark Wright from Super Finish. Mark's got a tremendous caliber. He's down here in Hawthorne and Melbourne. Tremendous work by Mark Wright. And of course, we can't forget the good thing here too by Mark Simmons from Simmons. Hello, Mark Simmons and Gary Simmons. Both very good mates of mine. Gary Simmons actually was a fighter himself. So Gary certainly knows what it's all about. But Mark is a big supporter of boxing. And the sport before for John L. Sullivan. I'm sorry, I've seen the same Kelly. I walked right in the first girl, Mary Margaret, with Danny Wilson versus Shane Kelly. Danny Wilson versus Shane Kelly. They switched it around on us, they did. And also, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the commentary box with us tonight. Good friend of mine in the Peppa on the boxing and another student of boxing, Sergio from Manly in New South Wales. It's the second Selkie, welcome to the commentary position.
Lovely back, Brad. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and it's been an early night so far, but do you know much about these two young boys as well?
I've been speaking to professional Lancifilo, Jimmy Slater, the trainer of
another regular contributor to the Internet website.
And he says his charge is actually shown up very well. He's been knocking out people in the gym, so...
He's a very good boxer, Shane Kelly, very classy boxer. And I'll tell you what, he couldn't be trained by a better man than James Slater.
Certainly has. And we'll go to our ring announcer, Mr. Howard Lee, for the introduction.
Thank you, Brett McCalley, Barry Michael, and Frank Hadley was assisting with the commentary team. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing in the lightweight division, truly an interstate match fight. Introducing in the blue corner, born in Maui, Victoria, then he boxed in Mount Gambier, South Australia, with the great Colin Cassidy, former national champion. Now with Jimmy Young at Wynnum in Brisbane, Queensland. 8 professional fights, 3 wins, 4 losses. Ladies and gentlemen, former Queensland lightweight champion, tipping the scales at 59.60 kilograms. Will you welcome Queensland's Danny Wilson? Danny Wilson. And across the ring, occupying the red corner, with the Slater boys, David, Brian, and James. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 professional fights, 5 wins, 1 loss, 1 by knockout. He is a former ABL National Lightweight Amateur Champion. He is a former Australian Kickboxing Lightweight Champion from Knoxfield, tipping the scales at 60.8 kilograms, wearing black trunks. He's known as the Psycho Kid, Shane Kelly. Shane Kelly. He's there from Merrick, Victoria, Mr. Malcolm Boulder.
We're just waiting for the start of our third bout here. We've got 2 very classy southpaws, Danny Wilson, the Queensland lightweight champion, and Shane Psycho Kelly. 2 very, very good southpaw boxers. This will be a very top-class, top-level exhibition of boxing.
Going to be a tremendous fight. Fasten your seatbelts because this is going to be a tremendous fight. The former Australian featherweight champion challenger Shane Kelly lost to the very well-credentialed James Swan for the Australian featherweight championship. Takes on Brisbane's hardest stealer is this young man, Danny Wilson, southpaw. 2 southpaws here, Barry. Of course, Danny Wilson in the black trunks with the gold band, and of course Shane Kelly, the black trunks with the name Kelly on the front.
This will be a really classy exhibition of boxing. You know, both these boys are top-class southpaws, move well, got good hand speed, and certainly know their way around the ring.
Well, certainly Shane Wilson has been there with the best, 28 years of age. Sorry, Shane Kelly. Psycho is his nickname. Trained by the Slater boys out at Knox, Jimmy Slater, Brian and David. Good young crew they are too.
They are, that's for sure.
Wild little right hook there by Shane Kelly as Danny Wilson ties him up. Danny trained by the Secretary of the Queensland branch of the Australian Boxing Federation, long-time Secretary Jim Young. Very well skilled. He's certainly improved his career since he's been over with Jim Young, Barry.
Undoubtedly. I'll tell you what, a lot of sportsmanship already being shown between these 2 participants in the first round.
And it's great to see too.
Even in a very willing affair, they're willing to be that sporty, you know. Very good.
There's that little crushing, little snappy, little right uppercut that came from Shane Kelly. Just caught the jaw of Danny Wilson.
I was speaking to Danny today at the hotel where we were staying, and he definitely didn't come down to sit in Poland. He's here to fight. He's here to win.
He looks like he's here to win too.
A very confident young man.
No crowd will get in the way. He's definitely here to win if he can.
Well, he's got a tough job against him, Zelko, because Shane Kelly is a very competent boxer. Moves, you know, I've seen him fight on maybe half a dozen occasions, and he's always impressed me the way he uses the ring. He's always in top condition. And very hard to nail.
And he's certainly impressing the party in the gym.
And Barry and Zelky, I think it's going to be a battle of skills this. I mean, we've got 2 skilled southpaws, and I mean, as you know, Barry, you've fought 100 of them in your career, and they are hard to fight southpaw fighters, aren't they? Hard to sort them out, but I'll tell you what, quite often when they get 2 southpaws fight each other, it ends up not an attractive fight, but this looks as though it's going to be a real good fight.
And the way I saw it, I thought the first round, not a lot, I just thought Shane Kelly just had a few more moves, and I think that's the way the fight will progress, to be honest.
On my unofficial card, I had Shane Kelly with a 10-9, just because he hit his opponent just a little more than what Danny did. A bit more variety. Danny tried his heart out, got some good skills, and just missed a few of the punches, but Shane just sort of counter-punched. And does that, how do you see it, Zelky?
Very difficult to judge his fight if that's an indication the first round.
Yeah.
I had trouble splitting them.
Yeah, actually, I think there's a good clue you could sort of say that maybe it could have been an even round. Some judges might sit on the fence and look at that. The only reason I gave it to Shane was simply you've got to hit your opponent to win the fight, and of course he did that.
Just a bit more variety too with his punches, you know. Both boys certainly look in top condition.
Shane Kelly made his professional debut 20th of October in the year 2000 at Geelong, and he won on points over Wally Raham, and a rugged little fighter, Wally Raham. We haven't seen him around for a little while, but a good effort. Got unbelievable, uncanny skills, Shane Kelly. Got good upper body movement and has been out of the ring for a little while now after he lost the Australian title to James Swan. But his last fight, I think, was in March 2002, I think it was, where he won by 5th round KO, thank you Barry Michael, over Damien Loader, who's a rugged little competitor from Sydney, as they tie each other up just above our commentary position. Our referee tonight, Mr. Malcolm Bourne, a WBC accredited referee.
Interesting you mentioned, one of Shane's previous opponents, Wally Rawlahan. He actually lives in my suburb, and I ran into him the other day at the milk bar, and he was discussing, debating whether he was going to continue fighting.
It's so very beautiful hands by Shane.
Beautiful. I'll tell you what, Danny Wilson's here to fight. He's really taking the fight up to Kelly. At the moment, Kelly using the ring beautifully, picking him off. Yeah.
And he's got a good reach. Zelky, he's making that reach, sort of making it hard for Danny to get very fast hands, Danny Wilson.
He's making it a lot harder this round.
Danny Wilson's got very, very fast hands, but look pedestrian compared to Shane Kelly.
For sure.
Great counter-punching by Shane.
I think this is a counter-puncher's fight. I think that while they're both aggressive, having a dig at each other, but they're both trying to make each other miss and then make each other pay.
Danny Wilson trying to get in against the ropes. That's where he probably needs to keep him and work away to that body a bit, mate, because I don't think he's going to compete with Shane Kelly's speed.
Barry, it looks that Danny's just a little stronger in close.
Yeah, I think so.
But that could also be attributed to the tremendous fast footwork of Shane Kelly, because he's on the balls of his feet too.
Oh, he moves beautifully, Shane Kelly.
Judges this evening, Mr. Gus Mercurio, accredited and well-known boxing aficionado here in Shane pops one after the bell by Danny, and of course, referee Malcolm Bourne is letting him know who's boss. Our judges, Mr. Gus Mercurio, Mr. Nico Williams and Mr. Andrew Campbell, very experienced judges tonight. The beautiful ring card girl here in Melbourne, as only Melbourne can turn it on, Barry.
Undoubtedly, mate.
And Selkie, you've come down today, you flew down today from Sydney, and
from 30 degree heat to 12 degrees.
I believe it. I was up there for the Anthony Mundine fight a couple of weeks ago, and the next day we went down to Doyle's restaurant for lunch, and it was about 24, 25 degrees. Absolutely magnificent. Yeah.
And Jelky, you were at the place last Friday night. Our good friend mutual good friend John Digger Ryborn lost his IBF Pan Pacific title to Jason Delisle in a hard-fought fight. He's a good friend of yours, Digger.
Unfortunate to see Digger lose the title, but Jason fought a very good fight. Not many people look that good against Digger, and Jason looked good.
And he had to get off the deck to do it. What round was it, Tel?
10th round.
10th round. Digger had him down, and Jason Delisle lose it to Danny Green to fight for the World Championship. Green lost again as we all know, lost to Marcus Beyer. And back to the action here. Barry Zelky, how did you see the second round?
Shane Kelly.
Okay.
Just the cleaner punches were shown, actually. Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got it at this moment 20-18 for Shane Kelly. Nice little right hook off the cup, and Barry, that's a hard punch to throw.
Again. Danny Wilson, having trouble tagging him at the moment, but I'll tell you what, the full credit to Danny Wilson, he's got a great technique and he's got a good kit of punches, and as you said, he's got good hand speed. But Shane Kelly is exceptionally evasive and exceptionally fast.
And Jimmy Young, his trainer from Brisbane, from the Brisbane suburb up there in as important young man to go to the body, up and over, under and over. He wants to go under and over and mix it up a little bit, of course. But Shane Kelly is just going first. He's beaten him to the punch.
I tell you, that's what from coming from Jimmy Young. I mean, Jimmy's been in the game, you know, forever.
Longer than both of us, I think.
A great trainer, a great guy, Jimmy Young. But it's the right advice for Danny Wilson because, at a distance, he's just too quick, Shane Kelly.
He's just being beaten to the punch.
Jimmy Young's got to get up on top of him and really rough him up. What do you think, Zel?
I think as Jim was saying, as I said, I've been speaking to Fatty, and he's trained him up a treat. He's really fighting well tonight.
Zolke, you were telling me a little earlier on, they said he's found some new punching power, Shane, because he's not a renowned knockout puncher. He's only had the one stoppage in his 6 professional fights, but and he certainly, as he stiffens up, Danny Wilson there, Danny trying to work to the body. Oh, he lets one go again, Danny. Yes, he's not likely because he's a good sportsman.
Really getting him dressing down from Melbourne corner there at the end of the round for punching up the second time he's done it towards the end of the second round.
He's a no-nonsense referee, Malcolm Border, and of course he won't tolerate that. But I think he's not a bad sport. I know him very well. He's a terrific young man outside the ring. I think he's just becoming frustrated. He lost 3 rounds there. A little bit ahead of the moment.
Yes, he's frustrated for sure. And I mean, fighting an evasive southpaw like Shane Kelly, you would be frustrated. He's certainly hard to tag.
50% of our fight gone. 6 3-minute rounds here. 6 2-minute rounds. Shane Kelly in the red corner in the black trunks with Kelly on the front. And of course, our visitor from Queensland, Danny Wilson. Whiplash Danny Wilson in the blue corner, trained by Jimmy Young at Sunnybank.
Seconds out as we approach round 4.
50% of the fight gone, and of course he's doing it well, that man Shane Kelly, as referee Malcolm Border just lays down the law. Isn't he a beautifully balanced fighter, Danny Wilson? On the balls of his feet, good style, knees bent, hands up high. And of course, the exact opposite to Shane Kelly. Moves to the right, moves to the left, goes right. As we see Danny Wilson, body punches, and Kelly just blitzes him with 3 or 4 punches and gets out of there.
Yeah, well, Danny Wilson's certainly got to turn this fight around. You know, he needs to do something, and he's been exhorted by his trainer Jimmy Young to work the body to, try and slow him up, bring him back, so he's an easier target to hit. But at the moment, Shane Kelly, very evasive still and doing a very good job.
Is just a little bit more. Malcolm didn't see that. Malcolm Border didn't see that, but I don't think it was any intention. I mean, if he wanted to do it, he really would have dug it in. But he's a bit of a player, and he drops that into Danny Wilson.
The heads were being really clashing up both there.
Definitely got more feeling in the fight than when they started out fighting it. So
Sergio couldn't have said it better. There's a lot of feeling in this fight starting to get now because Danny Wilson's becoming frustrated.
Danny Wilson knows that the fight's slipping away. Jimmy Young will be telling him that, you're losing on points, you've got to do something with this guy. But it's easier said than done. He's a very evasive target. He won't stay still, Shane Kelly. He's hitting and moving, he's in and out, he's under, he's all over the place.
Making Malcolm's job a little bit more difficult tonight.
Well, Danny's run out of ideas, I think. He's just going straight at Shane, and of course Shane's going left, going right. Great upper body movement by Shane Kelly, and it's making it hard for Danny to hit.
Just gave Danny Wilson a pat on the backside as he spun him round, which was making it even more frustrating.
Got great skills, Shane Kelly, and that little left cross that Shane Kelly comes at and drops it right angle, and of course Danny can't handle that. There was a little bit better round for Danny Wilson, but he certainly didn't do enough to win round on my unofficial card.
I think I agree with you there, Brad, but he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to get up on Shane Kelly and turn the fight around by roughing him up and probably slowing him up with the body shots, but it wasn't really successful that round, even though he did have a little bit of luck, but he still found Shane Kelly too hard to nail.
And Zelke, I think that he's becoming Danny Wilson in the blue corner with the gold band around his black trunks. I think he's just starting to sort of lose a little bit of concentration. He's becoming frustrated, and he's more looking to foul his opponent more so than to try and outsmart him now, Zelke.
Definitely a hard fight, yeah, and I'd say he's looking for any type of advantage he might be able to gain, yeah.
Barry, if you were Jim Young, what would you tell Danny Wilson to do now? I mean,
to be honest with you, mate, I think Jimmy Young's trying exactly what he needs to do, which is put the pressure on Shane Kelly, try and hurt him with body shots, know if Danny's that bigger puncher, and if he's, he's finding Shane very hard to hit. But I think Jimmy Young is giving him a couple of beautiful shots from Shane Kelly there, left and right to the head.
Beautiful hands, Shane Kelly. And what we see from Danny Wilson there, the minute he gets in, he really rails away to the body, and that's what he's trying to do, trying to sort of slow Shane Kelly down.
But he's got to do something. I think Jimmy Young's telling him exactly the right thing, which is to try and slow him up with the body shots, because he's finding his head very hard to nail cleanly.
It looks like he's got a longer reach too, Shane Kelly, than Danny Wilson is. And Zelky, you can see just a little bit of a nick on the right eye of Danny Wilson, just underneath the eye, is it, Zelk?
Yep. I think it was actually from a punch.
Was it? Yep. Wouldn't surprise me. Blistering hand speed by the former Australian featherweight challenger, Shane Kelly, a former Australian champion and a former state champion here in Victoria, 5 times Victorian ABL featherweight champion. And of course, once for the association way back in the years 96, 97, 98, and again in 2000 he backed it up. And that cut just looks like it's on the eyelid, Zelky, and looks like it's starting to bother Danny a little bit. A beautiful right hook just off the cuff, and he follows it up with a left cross.
Great clean shots.
Yeah, Danny just can't nail him. He's finding far too evasive, Shane Kelly, and Shane Kelly's going further and further in front. I can't see he's lots around at this stage.
No, he hasn't. I'd just like to see Danny Wilson sort of step his right hand out, just try and get out of the train tracks, if you like, of Shane Kelly. But it's not that so much, because Kelly's moving around to his right, and then he'll move around to his left. Beautiful cross by Kelly as he makes him miss again. Jeez, he's got some skills, young Kelly, hasn't he?
He's an excellent boxer. The heads are banging out there big time.
Malcolm's unhappy. He's very, very unhappy, Malcolm. One point reduction of Danny Wilson.
That was a fair call.
Absolutely.
As we've seen, mate, you can be disqualified for headbutting.
Absolutely,
You can be disqualified for not headbutting.
Absolutely. It's unfair. Actually, look, it's totally out of character for this young man. He's frustrated. He's lost every round, and I think that he's lost 5 out of 6 rounds already, and I think he's just become frustrated, and he doesn't want to sort of lose the fight badly the way he's losing it, Zelky.
I don't think there's any real maliciousness there. It's just the name of the game.
You'll probably see him having a beer together after the fight, but it's still not the name of the game, is it?
It'll be great afterwards. So, I mean, early doors in this fight, there was a lot of sportsmanship and a lot of, glove touching and respect and that, and it's just developed into, a serious fight, and I suppose these things happen. But I guarantee after the 6th round, final round,
Seconds out, 6th round, final round. Come on, people! Danny Wilson, Shane Psycho King Kelly.
As both boys give each other a little bit of encouragement, and that man in the black trunks, Shane Kelly, doing it in style here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre. And Stuart Duncan has a lot of confidence in this young man. He believes he can win the Australian title, and certainly I do too, Barry.
Yeah, no, he's got a big future, Shane Kelly. One stage there, I thought he was going to retire. I heard he was going to give the game away, and I was a bit disillusioned, because I believe he's got a real big future, Shane Kelly.
Comes in and out, that beautiful little left cross there. Gee, that was a terrific punch. And of course, Danny just can't get out of the way of it. The other thing that Danny's doing is he's going straight back in a straight line. He's going straight back. Can't twist on his front foot or twist inside like Shane Kelly does.
Yeah, he hasn't got the movement, the side-to-side movement that Shane Kelly's got. But, as I said before, quite often you'll have southpaws fight and they really do look messy, but this has been a good skilled fight. Yeah.
Both good skills by both fighters.
Both fighters have infringed a little bit, but that's the name of the game, I guess. It gets pretty heated up there at times.
Certainly a little bit of frustration, and as Zelky said, certainly he picked it very well. A little bit of feeling as Shane Kelly just shows a clean pair of hands to Danny Wilson. That's a beautiful little left cross and a little right hook. Great counter-punching. Great counter-punching. Great evasion. Like, just drop punches it out, hitting up there with punching this, punching these. Speeding around the ring, Shane Kelly. I've never seen a featherweight so fast. And look, I'm sorry I have. The great Johnny Banish on.
Of course.
He's had his left hand, his right hand down on his waist all night, and Danny still hasn't been able to take it.
He hasn't been able to overcome that, has he? Because, but I've always found, Barry, that, and Zelk, when you see a fighter who has got his hand down there, they're very, very hard to pick where the punch comes from. It is not angry.
Yeah, it is very hard. You bring your punch up.
A lot of fighters do that on purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
The first of the Southern Storm Series, and there's good sportsmanship.
Showing appreciation, Danny Wilson from Winnipeg,
on our
Brisbane,
third fight for the promotion.
and the Knoxville kid, the Saga kid, Shane Kelly.
Did it in style, Shane Kelly, and what a very, very good fight, a hard-fought fight, difficult fight to come up with. Kelly in the early rounds just eked out those couple of early rounds, showed his dominance a little bit in the later rounds. Beautiful hands, Shane Kelly. And Zelky, I think that from your point of view, as you said a little earlier on, he found some new punching power, but he's certainly the hand speed. Gee, I don't think he can get any faster than that, can he?
Looks like what Buddy was saying to me, Shane's trainer has been saying to me is true. He's been working hard in the gym. It's all coming together a lot better than perhaps it might have with the work he used to do.
Well, his trainer, Jim Slutter, he certainly knows his way around. Jim and I went to Georgetown in Tasmania when Jim was Australian flyweight amateur champion, and we're talking about 1971. Yeah.
Don't forget your age away.
That's how long I was only 2 then. No, that's when I actually met Jimmy Slater when I went away to Tasmania with him. We've been the dearest, the best of mates ever since. A wonderful man.
And a good performance by that man, Shane Kelly, as they take off the gloves. Shane Kelly, Danny Wilson. And what a tremendous effort. He certainly showed a clean pair of heels here.
Yeah, no, a very masterful performance by Shane Kelly. Undoubtedly it will be a clear unanimous decision, but a good gutsy performance by Danny Wilson, who showed a lot of skill as well, but was just outmaneuvered on the night.
My unofficial scorecard for those of you watching is 60-53. That's our unofficial scorecard. Both Barry and Zelky, we both agree on that. What do you think?
Yeah, 60-53, that includes the points lost.
The point lost, the 10-8 round, which was in round number 5. Of course, he won at 10-9, Shane Kelly, minus the 1 point deduction, brings it back to 10-8. Equivalent to a clean knockdown round. As we go up to our ring announcer, Mr. Howard Lee, for the official decision, as the boys have a bit of a laugh and good sportsmanship. And we go to our ring announcer, Mr. Howard Lee.
Thank you, Brad McKelly and Barry Boy Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the scorecards. Our 3 judges have a unanimous decision. Andrew Campbell, 59-54. Gus Mercurio, 60-54. Brett McCann, Bryce Birtwistle, 60-53. All for the winner. Red corner, the Psycho Kid, Shane Kelly.
The Slater Ball from Elliot Knox.
Yeah, what a team they are.
And a tremendous performance by that man. Welcome back, Shane Kelly, because you deserve it, and we're going to give you another opportunity at perhaps an Australian title somewhere down the line. As Jimmy Slater comes over and just lets us know who's boss.
This is our semi-main event. Welcome back to Simmering on behalf of Duncan Management Services. In association with Simmons Homes, we come to a truly international fight at the Dandenong Stadium, AFL Grand Final Eve. Build a better life, you better believe. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing in the junior middleweight division. Introducing first on my right, occupying the blue corner, all the way from Toowoomba in Queensland. He in fact fought in this ring here against Nathan Croucher, 24 years of age in professional boxing, 14 bouts, 8 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. From the Fighting Fit Gymnasium in Toowoomba, with his mentors Glenn Azar and brother Mick Shaw. Ladies and gentlemen, when you welcome the striker, Matthew Shaw. Wearing black trunks with a touch of gold and white. And across the ring, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, what a fascinating tale. Introducing from the Irish village of Belgooley, Munster, County Cork, Republic of Ireland. This is his second visit to Australia. In 1995, he was based in Adelaide, South Australia, under John Middleton. There he had 9 amateur fights, 8 wins. Returned to Ireland and completed an amateur record of 115 fights, 91 wins, 5 by knockout. He is a horse trainer, 33 years of age, a throwback to the legendary Irish-American heavyweight bare-knuckle champion, John L. Sullivan. Ladies and gentlemen, he has been blessed tonight by an Essendon priest, now living in Exhibition Street, Sydney, managed by Stuart Duncan. Ladies and gentlemen, 66.70 kilograms, with David the Rock Hitchcock and Steve Irvine from the underworld. His true name and fighting name is John L. Sullivan. John L. Sullivan, an Irish son of a gun, a 4 times Irish champion. 6 rounds of boxing. In charge of the action, after all that, is Pappa.
Welcome, Mr. President. Good clean fight. Such as an order. Really shake hands if we don't fight to the last round. Back to corners. Good luck.
Brad McCarley, what are we going to expect here before the bell for this main supporting bout?
Well, this is going to be a very, very good fight, because that man on our left in the blue corner, the striker, Matt Shaw, he's a very experienced young fighter, 14 fights, 8 wins. And he'll certainly test John L. Sullivan, although he's looks through business, John L. Sullivan. Hard body, very wiry body. Dave Hedgecock, his trainer, tells me he really wants to fight, so it could be explosive here. And he's been a recipient of the gypsy fights over in Ireland, where it's basically a no-rules street sort of thing. And boy, hasn't he got a mean look on his face, John L. Sullivan. He's all business. He goes straight at Matt Shaw, and of course he's going to want to be careful, because there is no better boxer than Matt Shaw when it comes to the skills, Sergio Vlahovic.
Yeah, Matty Shaw definitely been doing a good job for a very long time. He's definitely got the experience advantage.
Yeah, John L. is a bit wild with his punches in the opening seconds of the first round. Matt Shaw boxing nicely on the end of that long right jab. And as Dave Hedgecock said to me, this guy really does want to fight.
He's certainly got plenty of anger, and he goes straight at Matt Shaw. There's not a lot of skill from John L. Sullivan, as was the original John L. Sullivan. Just gritted his teeth and went hard at his opponents.
Well, I can't remember seeing the original John L. fight, Brad, but he must have been a bit of a puncher, the old original John L.
Certainly was, Barry, and I only read about him. Beautiful hands from Matthew Shaw.
Yeah.
Born in Brisbane, lives in the Darling Downs at a beautiful little place called Toowoomba. And of course, Barry, I know that you were up in Toowoomba there with me and Lionel Rose one time for the very first world titles fight that I ever refereed. You came up to offer some support with me.
That was with Darryl Hines.
Darryl Hines.
It's a while ago, mate. But I believe you had dinner with the great Lionel Rose
last night up in on the Gold Coast. He was up there and he asked about you. I told him I was going to see you tonight. I know that you're
Great friend.
closest friends of Barry. He loves you like a brother.
I love him like a brother, and I tell you what, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer I've ever put gloves on with in the ring. He's just had exceptional hands.
Skills, yeah. Beautiful hands by Matt Shaw as he goes left, right. He goes to the body, brings it up, a little left uppercut.
At the moment, John L. Sullivan hasn't got the answer to Matt Shaw, not at all. He's been ineffective with all of his punches. He's throwing punches wildly.
Looks like he's very strong in close. I suspect he might be a little stronger than Matty Shaw, but he goes straight at Matt Shaw with the very basic of skills, doesn't he? Left, right, but he's just straight at, and there's that right lead that he's just walking straight at. That's a beautiful right lead, Matthew Shaw.
Right on the end of it. He's, the only way John L's going to have any luck here is if he lands one of these bombs that he's throwing, but at the moment Matt Shaw's, really up to the task of picking him off beautifully.
Just while I get the opportunity to thank our sponsors again for this evening. Mark Wyatt, tremendously done out there in Hawthorn and Moorabbin. If you want a super job on your car, you go and see Super Finish. Mark Wyatt, great supporter of Stuart Duncan and the Southern Storm series here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre. I know that he's enjoying the fights as Matty Shaw just loses his footing. His referee Malcolm Buller, he's put the fight, isn't he, Zelky?
I thought he was going to turn around and jump on the ground.
I thought he was going to put the boots in.
I thought he might try a submission hold or something for a look in his eye.
Yeah, an angry John L. Sullivan, outsmarted in the first round quite clearly by a very, very good boxing Matt Shaw from the Southpaw stance.
And it was certainly a very, very good round for Matthew Shaw. With his brother Mick Shaw in the corner, a former Australian lightweight challenger. Lost the Australian lightweight while refereeing that fight. And a very, very good competitor was Mick Shaw, Queensland champion. And of course he's being trained by another internet local on there, bloke by the name of Razor. Zelky, I know you know him very well. Glenn Azar, and he's Mr. Fitness personified. Glenn, he's a personal trainer. And he really has helped turn the career of Matt Shaw around. He's a very good fighter, this young man. I believe that he should be the cruiserweight, the Queensland welterweight or junior welterweight champion. But being
Seconds out to the approach, round two. John L. Sullivan.
Losing his last to Paul Tapley, who's another very, very good fighter out of Queensland, out of the Paul Biggs camp with Rod Waterhouse up there in the ring. And with a good skills, good amateur career, nice little clubbing right hand by Matt Shaw. That's a beautiful countering straight right lead, isn't it, Barry? He just comes over the top. Oh, it's a low blow by John L. Sullivan. He's got plenty of fight in him. Oh, he bites hard down on the mouth guard as referee Malcolm Buller tells him to control his aggression. And of course, Barry, that's what a fighter has to do. It's controlled aggression, isn't it? You can't let that aggression overtake you.
That's for sure. I think he's really going to lose his cool here because he's eating a lot of leather as he's coming in, isn't he?
He certainly is. He's going straight at
the crowd's giving it to him too.
They are too. Beautiful hands there. And Zelky, he's just counter-punching Matty Shaw at the moment, isn't he? He's just, as referee Malcolm Buller warns him about the head. We'd hate to see this stopped by an accidental head. Pure right leads. Oh, beautiful jabs.
For as much intensity as John O's fighting with, he's not quite making a mark.
Certainly a rugged customer, John L. Sullivan. Only arrived in Australia on the 21st of August this year. And he says he's here for 2 years and he certainly wants to try and pick the eyes out of the Australian scene, in the boxing scene. Beautiful uppercut. Oh, that was a beautiful punch, Barry.
Oh, mate, he's being hit that much, you'll think he's surrounded, I tell you.
And of course, the skills of Matt Shaw, he's doing this all on the back foot. All on the
boxing very well. He's finding John L. Sullivan a very easy target. He goes downstairs with a couple of lovely rips as well. Hits him with 3 or 4 clean headshots, then sinks a couple into the red basket just for good luck.
And Zelky, we was talking a little earlier on today about how a fighter can mix it up, and your eyes blinked as mine did just then, where we saw Matt Shaw, beautiful rights and lefts to the head, then bang, bang, bang to the body. He went up, he went down, he mixed it up all over, and he's really confusing John L. Sullivan. And I mean, that's the sign of a very good fighter, isn't it?
It could be a much harder fight for Matt, but he's actually making it easier for himself. A bit of a lack of experience, and anybody else in there could actually be having a really hard time with John L.
Absolutely. You picked that very right, because I tell you what, styles make fights, Barry, and, Matt's not going to allow him to fight his fight, because he's making John L. fight his fight.
Exactly, no, styles do make fights, and John L. Sullivan at this stage just can't get onto the target.
He just connected with a little short, hard right hand there, but Matt Shaw repays the favour with his own little left cross.
I'll tell you what, he's eaten a lot of leather, John L. Sullivan. He sure has eaten some leather.
He's a rugged son of a gun, John L. Sullivan.
Well, the last time I looked into a pair of eyes like that, I was down the shark aquarium.
Yeah.
But it's also good to see that he's come out and he's having a go. He's certainly pursuing. He's a very fit-looking young man.
Fit-looking lad, and he certainly comes to fight. He just needs to, get his timing and get on target a bit, maybe learn a few finer points of the game. But I'll tell you what, also a very tough opponent to fight in Matt Shaw, I used to think Southpaw was a nightmare anyway, but especially a tall, rangy one who's a good counter-puncher on the back foot.
Absolutely, and of course, he's doing it in style, Matthew Shaw. He's really neat, really tidy, really composed. He's not losing the plot. He's just doing it counter-punching and just picking him off, isn't he?
Speaking today, his trainer, basically he was very unhappy with his last performance.
I saw that fight. It was a very good fight, a very good hard close fight. Paul Peppa has got great skills, as has Matty Shaw. Very good fight. And he actually just he outwitted Matty then. I mean, Matty actually hit him with a real sharp little right hook that really had Tapley in all sorts of trouble. I was thinking about the second round. After that, it was a little bit one-way. Matt sort of, the game plan went out the window, and of course he subsequently lost the fight on points. But he's back with a vengeance tonight. He's doing it in style, Matthew Shaw, all the way from Toowoomba. And I know that he's very, very proud and very pleased that Stuart Duncan has taken him under his wing. He's a good tryer, this young man. And Stuart is very, very happy to put him on the first of the Southern Storm series here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre. Grand final eve here in Melbourne, and tomorrow we see the mighty Brisbane Lions take on the fabulous Collingwood Football Club in what will be another classic match. And we've got a classic fight here with us at the moment. John L. Sullivan on the left in the black trunks with the white hair and the blue shorts. And Matthew Shaw from Toowoomba in the black boots with the white lacing, doing it in style with a beautiful, just counter-boxing, counter-punching, going to the left, going to the right. He's just bamboozling him, Barry Michael.
At the moment, Brad, it's like the matador in the bull. Absolutely. The matador is just carving the bull up at the moment. Hitting him with, look, he's just hitting him with that much leather. It's going to end up with leather poisoning if he's not careful.
Barry, he started out really keen to go straight at Matt Shaw and assert his authority.
He's a tough game, son of a gun, John L. Sullivan. But,
Barry, how'd you be meeting him in the back lane?
Oh, yeah, well, mate, would be fine for
So, look, here's the car keys as well, please. A very nice young man too. I've had a chat with him a little bit earlier on as I got some of his details, and he's a nice enough young man, very keen, fights it hard.
He's definitely willing to take a shot, try to deliver one.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think he probably realised that he's got a little more power than Matt, but Matt's just he's fighting smart. He's a smart fighter. He's fighting smart. He's just doing exactly what he has to do on the balls of his feet. Of course, that right hand, Barry, that missed from here to ball.
John L. hasn't been able to get on target with his right hand, which would probably be his most dangerous weapon. He's tried it a heap of times. He had a little bit of success, but look, I mean, there, missed by a mile. Yeah.
He needs to. What he's doing now is Zelke's becoming a follower now. He's not using any initiative. He's not cutting the ring off. He's not going to the left, going to the right. He's just got the basics, hasn't he? You know, just straight left, straight right. And of course, there is Matty Shaw is just picking him apart.
He's eating the job and still following along. It's not doing any favours.
Started off with a street of success. Is he on the way to the boulevard of broken dreams? That young man, John L. Sullivan. A beautiful offence by Matt Shaw again. He's doing it well here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre as the more stronger of the two in the blue shorts. John L. Sullivan ties him up. Matt Shaw boxing on the back move, a little head clash there as Shaw picks him off with a right and a left.
John L. walking up incessantly, but he's just having no luck at all. When he throws punches there, Matt Shaw is just not there.
Selkie, those punches are loaded, aren't they? John L. Sullivan, every punch is loaded.
Every punch. He's actually started to move his head around a little bit towards the end of the fight. Maybe if he started fighting.
Well, he was getting hit as much as you were too.
He tried to move his head around.
He's starting to move and bob now,
That was another good round for Matt Shaw. And I know that Mark Simmons, a good friend of yours, Barry Michael from Simmons Homes, he'd be very, very happy with what he sees with young Matt Shaw, because I know he's got a lot of time for Matthew Shaw.
For sure, no, Mark's a gentleman too, and his father Gary, I mean, they're great supporters of boxing.
Gary Simmons, a tremendous fighter in his time too, a very, very powerful man. And he's another man I wouldn't like to beat in the back lane, Barry. Very successful home builders here. I believe they're Victoria's largest home builders, and they build something like 800 homes per year.
And they build great homes too. Simmons Homes are really quality stuff, and they've been around in the business for a long, long time.
And folks, we mean that with all sincerity. We're not just trying to give them a plug because they're our sponsors. They are lovely people. If you get the opportunity to meet Gary and Mark Simmons, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, we can't forget our sponsors tonight, our major sponsors. Soul Corporation at 431 Sea Road, South Melbourne. Owned and operated by Stuart and Kerry Duncan, and they've got a marvellous business down here. And if you want a mobile phone deal, you will not beat the deal that Soul Corporation can do. They specialise in satellite phones, mobile phone repairs. Go down and see the boys down there, and I'm sure they'll look after you, especially if they know that you've been here at the fights.
Oh, John Sullivan took 3 clean shots. Tell you what, he can take a shot. God, he's certainly walked into some, and as you said, he's very physically strong.
But the skill factor of Matthew Shaw is Matt's turning, he's twisting on his right foot, he's twisting on his front foot, twisting and turning, he's going to the left, going to the right, and of course he's just confusing John Sullivan. It's a classic boxer versus puncher, isn't it, Barry?
Isn't it ever? Very good boxing by Matt Shaw.
And we now see some blood coming from the nose of John L. Sullivan, and you can certainly understand that with the punches of Matthew Shaw just picking him away. This is just a perfect performance by Matt Shaw. Sullivan goes to the body, and of course Dave Hodgcock screaming at his young chance to try and change the pace of this fight.
Screamed out, that's better, and it was actually a good right drive to the body, and it's probably because he's been so ineffective with his head shots, he possibly should have attacked the body a little earlier.
There he goes again to the body, and good advice by the living legend Dave Hodgcock as he implores John L. Sullivan to go to the body, but Shaw just a little bit too smart.
Big hard John L.
Throwing from everywhere.
And there's those big headshots again from Matty Shaw. He's turned up the week tonight, Matty Shaw, as John L. Sullivan bites hard down on the mouth guard and claims him.
Tough cookie, John L. Sullivan. Grits his teeth and just walks wade through those punches. You can't do that forever.
Arguably that right hand to the body of Matt Shaw was the best punch for John L. Sullivan that he's thrown all night. There's a nice little right hand that just clipped the jaw of Matthew Shaw. But there's a beautiful jab.
Lovely, solid jab. Smacking the face. Oh, that was a good right hand.
That was a good right hand. That certainly caught his attention.
Connect was his best punch of the fight.
That's the best punch of John L's for the fight, for sure. It was a good right hand that certainly jarred Matt Shaw, but he's still in control. Oh, big punches.
He's certainly fighting it out, John L. Sullivan, and I think that if he can maintain the persistence, Matthew Shaw, I'd say he could probably get John L. Sullivan a little bit of strife, but knowing Dave Hodgcock, he'll come up with a plan, the living legend, and John L. Sullivan goes with lefts and rights again, just missing the body, that little right hand cops as he cops a left hand of his own.
What a rough, tough cookie this John L. Sullivan. Walks in with his head down, punching both hands to head and body. But another clear round of Matt Shaw.
And that's the end of the fourth round here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre. And by June, he looks a better fighter now, Matty Shaw. It's the fourth of a 6-round fight here.
Yeah, I think he's definitely swallowed this last victory.
It's a shutout at the stage. What do you think he can do? John L. Sullivan to turn it around.
We could only try for a knockout. I'm saying I wonder if he could actually come up with a knockout punch match. It's going to be too hard. Matt has slowed down a little bit, but it's still a bit too hard.
I have seen stranger things happen in fights, but at this stage it really looks, like as though Matt Shaw is going to go on be a clear winner. But he still is dangerous, this man. He's got power, he's physically strong, and he showed us with that one.
Thank you, David. Seconds out as we approach round 5.
Absolutely.
I think it's unlikely that I've seen stranger things happen. But I think you'll see Matt Shaw, continue in the style he's going and win clearly.
Round 5 here at this 6-round contest between Matthew Shaw in the blue with in the black with the black shorts on our right, and John L. Sullivan with the blue boots with the blonde hair, and certainly trying to make a fight of it tonight. Our fourth fight for the evening here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre is Matt Shaw just goes with lefts and rights and lefts again.
Clean punches, clean headshots that John L. Sullivan's walking straight into and straight through.
And for those of you novices at home or young boxers watching this, and you want to be a boxer, just look at Matt Shaw, because he's doing it very, very well. Classic style, moving around to his left, moving to his right, but he just ran into a little right there as he unloads again with lefts and rights.
Back beautifully.
Barry, what he's doing, I think that he's sort of bringing John L. Sullivan in. The minute John L. Sullivan comes and commits,
he nails him.
And then he nails him. Yeah. And he doesn't nail him in one. It's punches and bunches, isn't it?
Hits 3 or 4 or 5 punches, and then he moves again. Now, smart boxer, Matt Shaw. He's doing a good job here against a very tough, determined opponent who's thrown a lot of leather.
Referee Malcolm Border just warns Matty Shaw for holding, because that's his game plan at the moment. As the pace of the fight is just slowed just a little. The intensity is still there, but the pace is slowed just a little bit. And Malcolm Border just sort of saying to Matt, hey, look, don't hold, you're holding just a little bit too much. But that's his style. He's jab, jab, jab on that back move. And
look at that, that's just beautiful. Right jab, that's brilliant.
Barry, Zelky, how often do you ever see a fighter at any level just go jab, 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 jab like that and everyone hit?
No, for sure.
One of the last times I was watching Nader fight against, I can't remember his name, the Korean guy.
Daesan Lee. Daesan Lee,
left jab on that.
Yep, and he's got the best left jab in the business. Oh, not even, but certainly
he's got a very good left jab.
Yeah. Wonderful fighter, Nader Hamden, and of course he lost to Sam Sullivan in Sydney, and I know that his career is on track as well. Nader Hamden, terrific fighter and a terrific man outside the ring, Barry. I know you like him as well.
Yeah, and the only loss he's had, I think, in 36 fights is to Sammy Sullivan. I mean, wow. I mean, Sammy's one of the very best boxers in the world. And, could give any
middleweight in the world. I make a prediction: he will trouble any middleweight in the world. Bernard Hopkins, and you look out. Sam Sullivan's coming to look for you.
Undoubtedly, mate. Sam could on a good night. Sam can beat any of them.
Oh, Matty Shaw is getting knocked up. He's just rolling away here. Referee Malcolm Border will have a good close look at John L. Sullivan. He's really turned up the wick, Matthew Shaw. Lefts and rights to the body and to the head, of course, as John L. Sullivan now claims Shaw. He says to stop me holding, Malcolm Border. It's him, Richard Wells.
Yeah, unbelievable. Incredible amount of shots to the head that John L. Sullivan's taken, mate.
I scored that 10-8 round in favour of the blue corner, Matthew Shaw, simply by virtue of the fact that the clean scoring punches of the first man in the red corner, John L. Sullivan, just came back with nothing. Nothing too severe, but look, mate, he tried. He's a real try, but he's getting hit with too many shots, and I tell you, doesn't augur well for a long career. And you take too many headshots like that, mate, you end up throwing ducks on the wall and trying to feed them, I tell you. As only you could say, my friend Barry Michael. And but look, let me tell you, this young man has got plenty of fight. He has got some skills. He's got some power. I think there's a number of fights around that he could use. And I no doubt Stuart Duncan was over having a chat to Dave Hedgecock a little earlier, and the living legend Dave Hedgecock, but they can bring
it in seconds out. This is the 6th and final round.
I'll tell you what, he's got a heart as big as far left, this guy, John L. Sullivan, but he's been outsmarted all night, and he's taken a lot of punishment. He really has. And, Matt's a boxer. I mean, against a big puncher, he could be in some serious strife, because you can certainly nail him.
And Barry Zelky just said to me then, we've already seen a different John L. Sullivan. The first thing he did when he came out, Zelka, as he said, was to move his head to the left, moved his, we didn't see that in any of the previous 5 rounds. Started to move his head a little bit, but I'm quite sure that there'll be some good fights for him at another level, just down the level a little bit, because Matt Shaw had an incredible 82 amateur fights for 67 wins.
Yeah, great record.
A 4-time Queensland champion. In the bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight and junior middleweight. He's a 97 Australian champion, 1997 Australian junior middleweight champion in the Australian Boxing League, as he unloads on John L. Sullivan, who just bites hard down on the mouth guard. And there's that little bit of upper body movement from Sullivan, but it's all too late here in the 6th round at the Dandenong Basketball Centre. And I hope you're enjoying the action in this tape of Stuart Duncan's first Duncan Management Services, and it's Southern Storm. Southern Storm number 1. Oh, that's beautiful punching left, right, left, and a little left uppercut to the side of the chin.
John L will be nice to saw around the face tomorrow. He's taking a hell of a lot of punches during this fight.
He's still trying, Barry. He hasn't thrown in a towel. He's just trying. He's going to fight this out, John L. Sullivan.
He's a real fighter. As I said, he's got a huge heart. He's got a great chin.
Oh, good little left hook by Sullivan.
Oh, yeah. He's as determined as hell.
Yeah, I'm sure we won't see him retiring tomorrow.
There's that little left hook again. He clubs Matty Shaw as he massages him with the top of his head as to he pushes Malcolm Thorner out of the way. There's that big left cross by Matthew Shaw. There's blood coming from the nose of John L. Sullivan.
It's a big accumulation of punches over 6 rounds.
Isn't it wonderful to see a fighter Zoki like that who could go back as he's going backwards, throw incredible combinations, punches in bunches on the back move.
Not a lot of people fight back.
No, hardly anyone can fight.
Hardly anyone, exactly, Zolk.
Very hard. The great Sugar Ray Robinson, though, he could knock him out going backward.
But there's only one.
Oh, yeah.
There is only one. Many in name, only one in stature.
For sure.
Oh, that's a powerful... He's hit Matthew Shaw with that 3 times in this round. That's a very good punch.
Yeah, he left hook.
One wonders why he didn't begin to throw that earlier, unless, of course, maybe Matty slowed down a little bit. He knows he's won every round and... starting to try and think a little bit as he gets clubbed by Wrights, and another big left cross by Matty Shaw, and Shaw claims him again.
Coming up to the bell, I'm sure.
It's not too long to go in the round now. And
put your hands together there for Matt Shaw and John L. Sullivan. Sixth finishing round.
He was outboxed all the way through, but he never gave up, and he was still throwing bombs at the end. But for my money, copped too many shots.
Silky, how do you see it, mate?
Thoroughly outboxed over the 6 rounds. Unfortunate because he showed more heart than most people to step between the ropes do. And the heart's just not enough, is it?
No, certainly not. Sometimes heart and ability is just not enough. You've got to have a good mind too, Barry. It's a thinking game, our sport.
Oh, undoubtedly it's a thinking game.
Secretary of the Australian Boxing Federation, Frank Hadley, all the way over from Adelaide, has joined, and he scored at 60-53 as well as us here at the commentary position. Zolki Vlahovic all the way down from Sydney. Zolk, it's been a pleasure to have you here with us tonight.
Thank you very much once again.
With the former World Super Featherweight Champion, former Commonwealth Lightweight Champion, and of course Australian Champion, and the man who kept Australian boxing alive in the middle of the 80s, Barry Michael.
Thanks, Barry.
Mr. Howard Lee for the official scores on our first fight for the evening.
We have a shutout. Judge Andrew Campbell, 16-54. The same Gus Mercurio, 60-54. Bryce Birtwistle, more lopsided, 16-51. Your winner, the striker from Toowoomba, Matt Shaw.
As expected, Barry Michael, a unanimous points decision to the striker, Matthew Shaw, with a scores of 60-51 by Bryce Birtwistle, 60-54 by Gus Mercurio, and 60-54 by Andrew Campbell. And our official scores was 60-53. I scored 1 10-8 round. I'd say Bryce, by the look of it there, has scored 2 10-8 rounds, and I think that was a very good effort by Matthew Shaw.
This was a terrific effort. Brad, and if the viewers at home want to know, Barry, why they call boxing the sweet science, well, there was a bloke, John L. Sullivan, going forward, throwing big lefts and right hands, and Matthew Shaw, Barry, backing away, but completely controlling the fight with jabs and combinations on the fight, going backwards the whole time.
Sullivan, a tough
It was really the matador of the ball.
Professional fighting in Australia.
Now, when I spoke to his last match, and I was spouting, very little spouting. Rank Ross was there.
John, you're a horse trainer. Can you tell me a trivia question? Who won last year's Melbourne Cup?
You tell me it was Irish champion.
Media puzzle. Okay, have you got a tip for this year's Melbourne Cup?
Media puzzle.
Okay, John Sullivan, great to have a great Irish name in Australia. Better luck next time. John L. Sullivan. from County Cork, Ireland. Matt Shaw, Matt, twice in this ring, it brings back memories.
Yeah, I love fighting in Melbourne. I think I might take Melbourne as my new hometown. I just want to say, anybody who's connected with Lantouris, I want to fight Lantouris. Thanks to DMS and Stuart Duncan for the chance to fight. And yeah, let's go Porky.
Let's go Porky. Matt Striker Shaw.
Lancifilo equally as popular and equally as fit. Looks like he's done the work by Michael. He looks in really good nick. That's what Ronnie Russell said to me. He is in really good condition. And we're not far from the start here, and we've got a capacity crowd here for Dandenong basketball. So I'd say we've had every bit of 1,000 people here, Barry. And certainly it's a great crowd, and they're really participating in the atmosphere here in the big one. Tremendous atmosphere here. We'd like to see OPBF getting out champion. Let's go! Let's go, Porky! He's over there signing. Let's go! He's very popular now here, Sergio. One thing about Sammy, he'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. He's never back to fight. But the very best in the world is your Lucas. He's lost some very dubious decisions. Oh, he has. We saw him. He's beaten some. He won a stack of titles, but the losses on his record, they're dubious decisions, a lot of them. We saw him beat the murderous punching Argentinian Ramon Cortez here at the Powerhouse. So he then travelled to Kumamoto City just 2 weeks ago and took apart the OPBF champion Takahiro Toyozumi and brought back the accolades and brought back the belt. The OPBF middleweight champion Sam Sullivan, and what a tremendous performance it was on a split points decision, a hard-fought split points decision in Kumamoto City, Japan. And he's going back there on November 1 to defend that title again against another Japanese warrior by the name of Suzuki, and that is going to be a marvellous fight. Sam Sullivan just one of the many legends here in the audience, one of the former fighters. As we're not far from the start, as both boys limber up and warm up. Sergio Lancifilo on our left with the red shorts with the white band and piping, black boots. And of course, the Cranbourne hotshot, young Daniel Porky Lovett, the red shorts with the white band, with the white piping, and band I should say, Barry, and the white boots. And a very, very popular young man, just 10 minutes away.
Welcome to our main event of the evening. It's showtime at the Dandenong Basketball Stadium. Another night in your city. Main event time. 8 rounds of boxing for the Super Middleweight Championship of Australia. Your commentators at ringside, Mr. Brad McCarley, Mr. Barry Boy Michael. Your referee in charge of the action from Berwick, Victoria. He's officiated in 53 World Championship events. Mr. Malcolm Mulder, give you a warm welcome to ringside. Your judges, International WBC representative Mr. Gus Mercurio, Mr. Andrew Campbell, Ms. Anita Williams. Your ringside position, Dr. Peter Lewis. Safekeeper of the bell, Mr. Damien Denry. Ladies and gentlemen, representative of Professional Boxing and Combat Sports Board and ringside, Secretariat Noel Sharp, Robert Todd, Mr. Collingwood, Mel McGuinness, and Aussie champ Scott Brown. Howard Lee is my name, boxing is my business. Jill Duncan welcomes you to ringside. DMS Promotions proudly present the Southern Storm #1. Introducing first the challenger. On my left, occupying the red corner, he's part of the Slater Boys. From Cranbourne, Victoria. In boxing, 2 championships in professional boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 wins, 1 loss. Wearing Sydney's once colours of red with a touch of white. 20 years of age. He is dynamite, dangerous, destructive. Mr. Damage, Daniel Hickey Across the ring, the blue corner, with Werner Cannon, with Paul Leighton, and Rob Russell from the Oakley Youth Club. Originally from San Diego, Chile, where he fled a repressive regime. Now a proud Aussie. Ladies and gentlemen, tipping the scales at 75.10 kilograms, 7 professional fights, 2 wins, 2 draw, 3 losses. Wearing red trunks with white. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning and defending Super Middleweight Champion of Victoria, from Springvale, the mighty Sergio Lancifilo. In charge, Malcolm Mulder.
Barry Michael, the atmosphere here is electric and the crowd are on their feet. Big following here for Daniel Lovett. Stuart Duncan, congratulations, you have done it again, my friend. You have turned the blood of professional boxing upside down and you have completed what I think no other man could here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre. And we're ready for a start with the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship on the line. The southpaw and Porky Lovett on our right, the up-and-coming young challenger. It's going to be a hard-fought contest, Barry. Sergio, good body punching, knows his way around a boxing ring.
The beer's just arrived on consignment. Beer for you,
I think arguably this will be Daniel Lovett's probably hardest fight. Lovett goes to the head, but he misses, and Sergio goes to the body. Power shots to the body by Lancifilo in the early stages of round #1. Grand final eve here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre, and you're watching the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship. Porky Lovett to our left, Lancifilo to our right.
This is going to be a tough fourth contest for sure.
Good skills, Sergio Lancifilo, very fast hands.
Paints with his right hand continually and then goes to the body and then up to the head.
Cross arm smothering close. Defends well. Good work by Serge. Just got Daniel Lovett just a little bit nonplussed, a little bit perplexed at the moment. He just can't work him way out because he's counter-punching Sergio, and that was a nice little short right hand by Porky. That's a good little punch. There it is again.
Good shot. The right hand straight down the middle is a punch against the southpaw. But he does hold his hand well in front of his face, Sergio Lancifilo. He's not going to be easy to hit with that right hand.
He's got that wavering right hand that comes from down around the wrist, but comes at awkward levels there. The pair of thresholds. I just hope that's not going to be a tone of this fight. This is going to be a tremendous fight for the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship. We're joined here at ringside by the National Secretary of the Australian Boxing Federation, Frank Hadley. Frank, thanks for your time again.
Thank you, Brad.
How do you see it in the opening couple of minutes here, Frank?
Very much a feeling that way for both boxers, but both boys are ready to mix it up.
Yeah, they're both getting stuck into it early here. Porky Lovett's, I think, starting to find his range against his southpaw opponent.
Just looks a little neater, doesn't he? Yeah, beautiful hands there, left and right by Porky Lovett.
Straight right the punch against his southpaw opponent, followed by the left hook.
I saw him for the very first time at the Powerhouse last month in Melbourne's beautiful Albert Park Lake. He upended a very rugged Queenslander by the name of Alan Humphreys. There's that little damaging little left cross and a beautiful right hand by Lovett. As he backs Lancifilo up, that certainly changed the tide of this round.
Starting to get his timing, Daniel Lovett. Beautiful, beautiful counter punching there.
Yes, Barry, certainly finding his range now towards the end of the round.
Yep. The opening minute or so there, Lancifilo lifted him up, lifted his hands and good body punches, but Lovett came home well there in the first round.
I guess you could even call Frank Hadley, I mean, if you wanted to sit on the fence, you could call that a 10-10 round. I've given the round on my unofficial scorecard to Porky Lovett, only by virtue of the fact of the cleaner punches and very, very neat.
In the last minute, certainly.
Just in the last one. And I mean, that's why I've made a decision, perhaps the wrong one, but I guess you could have really, that was really an even round, wasn't it?
Well, you know, I mean, it's a tough one to call. I mean, I'd like to really watch the round again, but I mean, Lancifilo was pressing the fight early, landing some good body punches, but in the last minute it was noticeable that Porky Lovett found his range, as Frank said, and he did land some very nice combinations.
Clean, crisp power shots. Our judges for this evening are very, very well respected. WBC referee, been around for a very long time, and judge, of course, Mr. Gus McCreary. Recent costumes in Jesse James qualified on January 18 here at the Melbourne Coastal Dome, and Mr. Andrew Campbell, also a board member of the Victorian Professional Boxing and Martial Arts Board. And of course tonight's fights are all sanctioned by the Professional Boxing and Martial Arts Board. Present with us the Secretary, Mr. Noel Sharp, Mr. Bob Todd, Mr. Mel McGuinness, and of course former Australian champion Scott Brown. Referee tonight, Mr. Malcolm Brunner, one of the finest in the business. Lancifilo comes in, reaching for his punches as the head comes forward. Just swinging wildly there, Serge.
I'm very worried about Lancufilo's head, Brad. I think he tends to lunge forward with it when he throws the jab.
I refereed Sergio Lancifilo against the murderous punching Sakio Bika over in Perth. Sometime actually, Frank Hadley, I think you were a judge on that particular fight. Might have been the occasion over there. And he went very well against Bika, but the same thing happened. It sort of all came apart at the seams about round 3 or 4, and ended up stopping the fight, I think, in the 5th round. Because Bika is a very, very hard puncher. But Lovett just taking his time, not rushing things, just
he's counter punching. This stage he's fighting a smart fight, the way I said. Brady, he's working his opponent out, he's counter punching.
I think what's actually, he was perplexed a little bit because Sergio just came out, took the fight to him, hurt him to the body with combination punches to the body and of course to the head. But now that's all gone missing by Sergio. There's no such thing as a right jab there by him. And of course now the confidence is with Porky Lovett as he throws lots of right hands. And Barry, over the years, it's never ever changed the manner in which you fight a southpaw. Simply get your left foot outside his right foot and go straight down the pipe with that right hand.
Exactly, as he just did there. And if you can land the right cleanly, come across with a short left hook if possible.
Well, it was one of your strengths, and I've been too condescending. I know that you love fighting southpaws. None of us like fighting southpaws, but you were over to him and had him very, very well.
All the girls I used to hate it, but towards the end of my career, I think the last 6 or 7 I fought, I think I stopped, but all the girls I didn't like them at all.
As we go back, as Lancifilo backs Porky Lovett up to the red corner. Some power punches in there. Lancifilo leans all over him. He leans on him. Big left hand, big right hand by Lovett. Big punches from both boys here. Short, solid punches. Like two bulls roaring at each other in the red corner. Lovett certainly shows his unhappiness at the head work of Sergio. That he was intentional. That's just his style. Well, as Frank said before, he's done it with his head. He certainly picked it. Frank Hadley's been around a long time. He should know, but he certainly picked it very early. I don't think there was anything intentionally there, but it was just more the case of the fact that Lancifilo leads when his head comes in to try and get that body work that he's got there.
What a round, come on! Hit me with your best shot.
Barry and Brad, it's a very close round, but I think that Lovett's scoring the cleaner punches and the stronger punches.
I agree with you, Frank. On my unofficial scorecard for the end of the second round, I've got a 10-9 again to Porky Lovett. Well, I don't think it was a clear and precise by no means of the stick. He was just a little cleaner in his execution, neater in his punches, neater in his delivery. Yep. And of course, the other thing is effective aggression. That's what wins fights, effective aggression. And of course, he was aggressive, and so was his opponent, Sergio Lancifilo in the blue corner, as he listens intently to Ron Russell.
Exactly, Brad. And Sergio had his moments in that round when he had Lovett in the corner. He was scoring cleanly with both hands to the body. Again, Lovett rallied and with those hands as good shot.
Challenger Daniel Lovett. With 8 seconds out, round 3.
Championship as we go into the third round here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre. The very first of the Southern Storm Series, promoted by Duncan Management Services, headed up by Stuart Duncan. And has he got a knack of being able to draw a crowd and put a fight together? And let me remind you that Stuart Duncan does all his matchmaking here, Barry and Frank. He matchmakes all of these fights himself.
He does a great job, Stu. He's a great supporter of the fight business. He really looks after his fighters as well.
And of course, the other thing you've got to understand is that he's effectively, I mean, he's been a fan of the sport and a student of the sport for many, many years, but he's only actually effectively been in the sport for some 2 years, 18 months perhaps, as a promoter, and fast becoming one of the most recognised and most respected promoters in the Australian boxing scene. I'll say that with absolute sincerity.
I'm sure he's going to go on to promote a lot bigger events, that's for sure. This is a great event here tonight, but I'm sure that Stewie's got the eye on the bigger pie, and he's going to promote some big fights down the track.
It's a wonderful venue here, the Dandenong Basketball Centre, and we've got a capacity crowd of roughly about 1,000 people here, all cheering your home board. Porky Lovett as he unloads on Sergio Lancifilo.
They're banging these guys.
Oh, what a tremendous battle, Barry, we've got going on here.
They're really getting in there. Lancifilo on top, he's pushing Lovett around the corner. Lovett around him, a good clean headshot there. What a fight.
The heads are too loose here. And the referee Malcolm Border should warn someone there's blood on the arm of Porky Lovett. I suspect it's come from the nose from Sergio Lancifilo. Gee, Barry, looks like he's done the work. There's a massive right hand by Lovett.
I tell you what, he's a tough cookie, Lancifilo. Good body work. Lovett comes back with a lovely right hand to the head. Real quality fight this. Real quality main event.
We're in the trenches here tonight, Barry.
Yeah, tough, hard work in the trenches. That's where it really takes it out of a fighter. But both these guys up to the task. Two warriors.
Beautiful hands by Lovett. Equally as good hands by Lancifilo. This is a very good fight. And of course, the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship is on the line. Sergio Lancifilo rated number 11 in the Australian National Boxing Federation ratings in the Super Middleweight. And of course, if Porky Lovett, that man on our left, if he can take this fight, then he'll become rated in the Australian ratings. He slips under the right hook by Lancifilo, comes with a little hard left to the rib cage as the pair go at it. Hammer and tongue here above our commentary position.
I think Lancifilo is physically stronger than the two. Good left hand here. Maybe getting on tail. Just Daniel Lovett at the end of this round. Daniel Lovett under a lot of pressure in the corner and in Lancafilo's corner. Lancifilo working away with both hands to head and body. Porky right hook through by Lancifilo. Body work again by Lancifilo. Good round by Sergio Lancifilo, Barry. Tough round, mate. Tough round. But you know, Porky Lovett comes back. Good countering shot.
That's about round 3. We're going to slip the men from the line.
Absolutely. He kept the pressure on Porky. he actually just he worried him out of the round, didn't he? He actually worried Daniel Lovett out of that round.
Tough, that round. That was a real hard round.
And that's a sign of a champion. He lost the first two rounds on our unofficial card. He came back and won the next round.
He certainly does.
And that's what our
Well, you've got your money's value here. 3 rounds down. Action
I tell you, every round has been closely and
Self-communications, Numbers Management, thank you for your support.
and a really
Enjoy
tough
the
fighting.
There's been nothing, no more precise, clear one round, has it? No one fighter.
It's been a real war.
Very well matched. Very well matched by Stuart Duncan. And I know that Stuart Duncan cannot do this all alone. He's got tremendous support from Mark White, super finish panels at Hawthorne and Moorabbin.
Seconds as we approach round 4.
The Southern Storm Seals, and of course we can't forget Mark and Gary Simmons from Simmons Homes, tremendous supporters of Stuart Duncan. Oh, Jimmy Slater, stop it, you bad man, he forgot his mouth guard. There should be a 1 point deducted for Jim Slater.
I'd like Jimmy to be doing something like that.
He must have seen some good-looking Sheila or something in the audience and forgot what he's doing.
Possibly, he might have had a flashback or something.
I think young Brian, who was it, David, just slapped him across the back of the head. Now he's got it on his game. Oh, good body work there by Lancifilo. Sergio is trying to sort of square his shoulders up so that he can dig that left hip underneath the ribcage of Porky Lovett and come across with the right hook. Before squaring up his shoulders, Barry, he opens himself up to the right hand of Porky Lovett.
Right, yeah.
Close fight on our hands here, folks, at the Dandenong Basketball Centre for the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship.
Porky Lovett looking for that right hand. And again, right hand, left foot.
That's what he's got to do. The right hand is not going to win it alone. He's got to throw the right. He's got to throw punches in bunches, Barry. The right hand followed by the left hook, and of course then it opens the door for other punches as well.
Sure, Brad. A couple of times he's thrown the right hand, left whip, left hook. Good work. Boxing well here with Daniel Lovett.
Sergio carries his right hand very low, doesn't he, Brady?
He does. He does. Which makes me think that, you know, Porky maybe should sort of maybe feign with the right hand and bang across the top with the left hook. But he's going with his right hand close at the moment, Porky, and it's working with good
Boxing there by Porky Lovett. Good counter punching there.
It's a very good tactical fight with one man stalking and the other man counter punching. I love to watch fights like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a very well matched fight. 2 good champions, 2 up-and-comers. Lancifilo, 6 fights, 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw, just 1 KO. Of course, I believe he's better than his record suggests. He's fought some very, very good fighters.
He's a vicious body puncher, Lancifilo.
Good body puncher, yeah.
Good body puncher.
Just got caught with a little short right hand. That's what I said a bit earlier on, Barry. He's trying to work to the body very, very hard to cut Daniel Lovett down, but as he's doing that, he's squaring up his shoulders and, of course, working straight onto that right hand.
And you know, judges always, the way I look at it, they do go for the cleaner headshots. The body punches never seem to get as much. They don't on the scorecard.
And of course, well spoken by the man. There was no better body puncher than this man on my right, Barry Michael.
Yeah, and certainly he's like to kill
It was one of my favourite punches, Barry. I know that he used to fall with the left, bang with the right, and then of course right underneath with the left. Yeah. And it really is. Costi works that wonderfully, doesn't he? With good right hand at top. And if he throws a right hand, you can be sure that he'll go with the left right up hard underneath the ribcage. Oh, there's a nice right hand by
Lovett. Short counter punch. He's boxing well this man, Daniel Lovett. Yep.
And of course, you've got to remember that the only way you is by hitting your opponent. That was a better answer. I thought he should have done a bit better.
Yeah, good sportsmanship shown between both boys too. At the end of the round, touch gloves when the bell rang.
And very pleasing to see, isn't it? Especially at this level, you know, because there's a lot on the line for these 2 young blokes. You know, one's a state champion, the other one is trying to take that title off him, and of course there's an Australian rating on the line here as well. And it's great to see 2 young sportsmen almost at the top of their game, but they still, the sportsmanship angle still stays there with them, and they haven't forgotten that.
Another very hard round to judge there, Brad, with Lancifilo on top early with the body punching against the ropes, and Daniel Lovett coming back in the last minute of the fight and getting his punches home.
I guess you could sort of say that it's a fight that's been fought in around each is 2 halves, because what's actually happening is that Lovett is not throwing as many punches as Lancifilo, but his
Seconds out as we approach round 5.
Lancifilo's throwing more punches than Michael.
Lovett shot 2 head punches. Yes, clean shot too. Yeah, no, it's a well-contested fight.
I thought a tremendous pace too, you know, it's a credit to both the trainers, the fitness of these two.
Very much. Fought at a good pace here. We're talking 76.2 kilograms here, 168 pounds. A cornerstone in the old language. That man on the right with the right band and piping, and just cocked that with a right hand there. He was Sergio Lancifilo, the current Victorian super middleweight champion. And the man on our right now with the white band and the white boots is Porky Lovett, one of the up-and-coming stars, of the rising stars in Australian boxing. And he's got a fight on his hands here tonight. Good counter punches by Porky. Lancifilo backs him up into the neutral corner and he goes to the body, gets a clubbing right hand by Lovett. Lovett hits him with a right hand again, gets under the left hook again. Lancifilo letting both hands go up close. Daniel Lovett scoring clean right hands, clean shot.
Daniel's really letting them go now, hasn't he, Barry? He's really landing them.
And he looked tremendous in full flight, Porky Lovett. He's very poised fighter. See, just slipped under that right straight lead, slipped on the outside of it, and then dug his own little left hook to the body there. That was a very well executed punch that. As he backs him up, Lancifilo into the neutral corner, smothering Porky Lovett with punches. And of course, referee Malcolm Bulmer warns him for his headies. I hope you're enjoying the action here on Southern Storm Rotten from the Dandenong Basketball Centre.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, the right hand's a winner for Daniel Lovett. Well, he copped a good left hand there, but his right hand's been a winner. He's landed with that right, short right continually.
And he's moving around to Lancafilo's right, to his left, trying to just keep him off balance as Lancifilo goes with lefts and rights to the head. And I saw the body language of Sergio tells me when he's starting to slow down, the mouth is open at first. He's just starting to slow down his foot. He just starts to pick his punches down with lefts and rights.
Getting on top.
The tide of this fight has turned, Barry Michael.
Crowd's chanting, Porky. Sergio's hands are dropping, which is always a sign, isn't it, for Barry? Setting in.
We're in the later stages of the fifth round, the bell about to go.
It's going to be a very hard-fought round 6, round 7 round. They'll do the championship round.
A good round by Porky Lovett. I don't think there was any dispute who won that round. I think that was arguably the first round who won.
Thank you very much. Simmons
Turned up the
Sole
winner.
communication. Mark Wyatt,
And I tell
super
you,
finish.
it looks to me as though he's got a fair
Great
bit left in the
boxing.
tank too.
We're rocking you back. All being good like here on December the 12th. Another big show. Southern Storm Series number 2, bringing you the best of the Southeastern Ethnic Victorian boxers. Sam Sullivan will be here in December. Glenn Kelly defending his Commonwealth Cruiserweight Championship. Big show coming up December 12th. Watch out for that. For those in the Merrick, Dandenong, Ringwood and southeastern suburbs.
From the judges to score a punch, you must score a punch, a clean scoring punch. It's the knuckle
Seconds
part
out
of
as we
the body,
approach
the strong
round
part of the
6.
body.
Let's not underestimate Sergio.
He's in there fighting. I'll tell you what, it's anyone's fight, this fight.
He is a warrior, Sergio Lancifilo, from Villarica in Chile. He now calls Springvale here in the beautiful southern suburbs of southeastern suburbs of Melbourne here in Dandenong. Favourite fighter is Marvellous Marvin Hagler, another southpaw of note. And of course these fighters are both very similar in stature. 180 centimetres for Sergio, 180 centimetres for Porky Lovett, and just a 2 or 4 centimetre reach advantage by Sergio Lancifilo. The southpaw, that has come awfully close there again, Frank Hadley. And Porky just nods his head at Sergio, says, "What's the head?"
And again, yeah.
They acknowledge each other and said, "Sorry, there's no ill feeling on it. It's just
There's no intent, it's just a style thing, isn't it, Barry?
It's a southpaw against an orthodox fighter. Your heads come together more often, I think. Daniel leading off the left foot with Sergio off the right foot, so your heads are bound to collide. It's
Clubbing left hook by Daniel Lovett there as he hits him also with a clubbing straight right hand. I think the left hook might be the winner here for Porky Lovett. The left hand, the right hand of Sergio is starting to drop. The body language tells us that he's starting to breathe a little bit heavy. The mouth is open, but he still hasn't stopped trying as he backs Porky up into the neutral corner above our commentary position. He goes with what's a right. Porky turns it around, he twists it, he comes back with his own right to the body. A little round uppercut. Sergio. Lovely left hook the body from Daniel Lovett. That's certainly Porky the punch on him. And the right hand. Good punch, beautiful counter punching, beautiful boxing there by Porky Lovett. He blows hard down on the mouth guard, does Sergio Lancifilo as he backs Porky Lovett up into his own blue corner.
Tremendous action there in the corner.
Wow, this is a great fight. Great championship fight.
A little short uppercut by Lancifilo with a little right uppercut. That certainly caught the attention of Lovett. Porky Lovett with a right hand. That's a winner, that punch, Barry.
That right hand's been a winner for him all night. The little right hand he drops in. Sergio flies back down. Both hands. Tremendous courage by both fighters.
Standing there, that took every bit of energy and every bit of wind out of his body. Barry, that was a tremendous punch.
And I tell you what, he really turned up the heat there, Porky Lovett. Showed that he's got championship caliber. What a good boys, but I'll tell you what, he just really showed a stamp of class there.
A tremendous sixth round. He really turned the blowtorch up on the bodywork of Sergio Lancifilo. And that man, Porky Lovett, in the red corner. And of course, he's done a wonderful job. A very, very controlled fight here. Picked his punches, fought the fight that he had to fight. He's taking him to school, but something tells me that Lancifilo is not done with yet. He's going to fight this fight right out.
Undoubtedly, he's got a heart as big as Farlap, man. He's in very good condition. To take the shot that he took in the neutral corner here to the body, and a couple of the headshots, and then to take that body from the neutral corner, the other neutral corner, on the bell.
Second round, Sillivan.
I could see the pain in his face too. So I tell you, Daniel Lovett, he's shown me tonight that he's really got a full kit of punches. He goes, he picks his punches well.
He's come of age tonight, Porky Lovett.
And Australian boxing was alive and well here in Dandenong tonight. What a tremendous fight.
Testimony to Paul Layton and Ronnie Russell on the fitness of Lancifilo. He's fought it out. And of course, the Slater boys, they've taught that young man, Daniel Lovett. They've taught him from the start. And of course, they've taught him very, very well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this round goes, because that last round, I think Sergio really, those couple of body shots really would have slowed him up.
Though he had to dig deep.
Well, didn't he? He was hurt.
Sergio, he had to dig deep. And the mouth comes open a little bit. He throws a damaging left cross and he hits Porky Lovett with. He works to the rib cage of Lovett as he backs him back into Lovett's red corner. A hard little left hook and a right uppercut by Porky Lovett. A big right hand by Sergio as the player go on and hammer it.
Still landing. He looks as though he's running out of gas, Sergio, but then he digs deep and throws some big ones.
He has the heart of a lion. But Jimmy Slater screaming in the corner, preparing his young chance to come forward. I actually think the Porky Lovett fight's better on the back move. He's making hard work of this, but has the beautiful left lead.
He's done some good stuff, Porky Lovett. He really has. He's got a spring in his feet, though. He's dancing around. I think he knows he's controlling this fight now. Yeah, I think you're right, Frank. He's picking his shot for better.
He takes a pop over, puts his head over the shoulder of Lancifilo, has a look at his corner, turns Sergio around. That's the sign of a good fighter when he can turn him around. Sergio hits him with two little short lefts and rights.
Comes up with a nice little hook himself, though. Both boys feeling the pace here. It's been an absolutely cracking fight.
Pace. Hectic pace. We're in the round 7 of an 8-round contest as Porky hits him on the top of the head. There's certainly no attention there. It's referee Malcolm Bourne tells Sergio to keep his head up.
Sergio certainly taking in the deep breaths now, Barry. Both boys are real tight. Daniel Porky Lovett's really taking some deep breath too.
Sergio packs Porky up onto the ropes with left foot right. And the left hook hurt Sergio. No quarter last one given here at the Dandenong Basketball Centre for Southern Storm 1. That means Sergio Lancifilo. Big right hand by Porky Lovett. Good punches for Porky Lovett. He's got Sergio scorecard as we go into round number 8, the championship round for the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship, and who will be our victor?
Well, you're right, Barry. Daniel is sucking in the big ones as well.
Yeah, he's feeling the pace.
Can't blame him. He's fought 8 3-minute rounds of absolute breakneck pace, breakneck speed, and he's copped some for his money as well, Porky Lovett. He's fought it all the way at
Seconds out, game champion, Sillivan!
I hope you're enjoying the action here from Southern Storm 1 on the very first of a number of promotions after here.
Put in again, Bob.
Jimmy Slater, you've done it again. Is that a ploy?
Welcome.
They forgot the mouth guard at the start. He's not on his game tonight, Jimmy Slater. We can only give him 6 out of 10 for that, Barry Martin.
No, we're going to give him a kick up the backside. We actually threw it into the ring for him.
Too right. And of course, the boxing authority members have noted that too. Jimmy Slater, only his 2 brothers who are very too happy. And he's not too happy with himself, but his young charge is doing it very, very well.
Some terrific shots, but he was really gasping in the corner. But there's a real class about Daniel Lovett, there is. There's a real poised class.
He did that again, Barry. He slipped up with a right lead. He went on the outside of that right lead. And if you ever fought a southpaw, you know how hard that is. As Lancifilo puts his head on Porky's shoulders and he wows away with rights and lefts to the body.
A lot of head clashes here with him. So far that no one suffered a bad cut.
Yeah, we've been very, very lucky. What a great fight we had. The main event here on Southern Storm 1, the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship.
The heads keep coming together again, Barry. Yeah, a lot of head clashes here.
We want this contest, and if we were to have an accidental head clash of the fighters to be stopped immediately, we would go to the judges' scorecards and the winner would be a winner by technical decision. The winner who would be ahead on those scorecards. And on our unofficial scorecard at this stage, we had it 69-64 in favour of the man on our right in the red corner, Daniel Porky Lovett.
Going to be interesting to see the scorecards on this one because
Sergio's a lot closer.
Sergio Lancifilo has certainly put the pressure on. He's thrown more shots. The other was definitely been more on target. He's throwing headshots. He's done a lot of beautiful work.
He's just picked his punches as we saw there.
He's hurt his hand.
He picked his punches and that look, grimace of pain.
He's hurt his hand bad, I think.
Oh, his left hand. Porky Lovett has hurt his left hand.
It's his right hand, though. Sure, it's his right hand.
I thought it was his left hand.
Oh, no, it must maybe his left hand.
I think it's his left hand, Barry. He put his money through the left hand before. We're close to the end of the... Tremendous Pappa. Sergio, hard to line. He's pulling it hard. He's sucking in the air. Don't you love it? The adrenaline is going to take him home. The crowd on their feet here at the Dandenong Basketball Stadium here on Stud Road, just south of the Monash Free, Wellington Freeway, and Stuart Duncan, Melbourne, got a very, very concerned look on his face. Is the left hand of that young man, his young charge, Porky Lovett broken? As Jimmy Slater untakes the gloves and anxiously waiting as they take off the left hand.
And the crowd showing their appreciation. They know they've witnessed a really tremendous fight. They're throwing money into the ring. Put a great advert for Australian boxing. Two tremendous warriors giving it their all for the state belt.
What a tremendous fight, Porky Lovett. The face says it all. The grimace of pain, but he knows he's done well. I think he knows he's done enough to win this fight.
A very good performance by Porky Lovett.
David Slater in the corner as well. David Slater in the corner as well, and they know they've done very well, though, Michael. I'm sure that they think they've won the fight and won it very, very well.
Yeah, I agree, Brad. It was a terrific performance by both boys, but if I was in Porky Lovett's corner at the moment, I'd be pretty happy.
To take nothing away from Sergio Lancifilo in the blue corner, he's got the heart of a lion, and he fought it out. 8 3-minute rounds, and he fought every minute of those 8 rounds. Indeed, he can be happy.
Now, in 4 of those rounds, Brad, they could have been scored either way, couldn't they?
Very easily. Very, very easily. And he looks happy with himself.
Well, he did fight a great fight. He really did put the pressure on Porky Lovett and brought the best out of him, I believe. I really think he lifted his game
Good point, Barry.
to a height that he hasn't reached before.
And we might, if we can get the opportunity, to go up to our ring announcer, Mr. Howard Lee, for the official score for the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause beyond the call of duty, Sergio Lancifilo, Daniel Lovett, rubber match, the fight of the year, 2003. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Anika Williams gives it 78-74. Judge Gus Mercurio, 79-73. Judge Andrew Campbell, 77-75. Would you congratulate the brand new
and Judge Gus Mercurio 79-73. I scored at 79-74. But eventually the fact that I gave it 10 rounds in the last, if I had gave it 10-9 more, I thought maybe I would give enough. I thought Lancifilo fought it out, and I had a 79-74. But in fact, if I'd have done the other way, it would have been 79-73 as well. But there's certainly no mistake about who won the fight.
That's for sure. He deserved the decision. He fought a very tough fight. He fought a very disciplined fight against a very tough, well-conditioned fighter in Sergio Lancifilo, who really came to retain his title. But Daniel Lovett tonight showed me that he can lift himself to the next level, the championship level, and I thought it was a very poised, polished performance.
Oh, certainly is. And we'd like to go to our ring announcer, Mr. Howard Lee, see if we can get a work with the new champion and also the former champion. And as he wants to have a chat with Sergio Lancifilo, and up to you, Mr. Howard Lee.
How about a round of applause for gracious, Sergio Lancifilo. Okay, how about 3 cheers for Lovett? Amen! 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 Borgie, congratulations. After the 3rd round, you seem to adopt a different strategy. You boxed more. You weren't prepared to just step in there and train. So in the corner, they gave you new instructions. That's the way I saw it.
During training, we knew that Sergio was fit. That's one of the things he had going from his real always fit, ready to fight. Very tough, so after the 3rd round, it didn't look like I was going to go my way, slugging it, so I just stepped back, box, and put my hands.
Borgie, you've got a tremendous supporter base in your hometown. Very football, all those things. Borgie, you'd like to say a few words?
Awesome. It wouldn't be the same if you didn't have everyone here carrying on and yelling and screaming. It really makes it all worthwhile. There's a few people I'd like to thank. Firstly, Mum, Dad, friends and family, but also Russell Whitney, Tip-Top Rupert. After I had my loss, we said we needed to travel around and get some good sparring and training, and Russell come straight in, handed out some money, and his little son Steve, he handed out some money, and Russell and Stuart organised some training up in Sydney and got some good sparring and really brought me back into boxing, so thanks a lot for that.
Jim Strato, tell us about Borgie Lovett, Daniel Lovett. What sort of a young man is he?
Have you got about half an hour? No, he's a good kid. He could train a little bit harder than what he does. He could put a little bit more run in it. But look, he's a great kid. He's got all the talent in the world. He hasn't said it, but about the 3rd or 4th round, he really hurt his right hand. He started out with his right hand. And so I said, great, box. Because he's been too over-anxious on trying to get the knockout early. He has to learn how to box like a true professional. And he did tonight, and he ended up with a sore left hand. He boxed beautifully. 3 cheers for Borgie Lovett. Thank you, Russell, for sending us to Sydney. We haven't forgotten you. Thanks, man. And DMS Stuart Duncan, you are a legend.
There you are, the legend when it comes across Stuart. Stuart, that was the crowd exceeded your expectations and the atmosphere was electric. Congratulations.
Yes, it was, Howard, and I'd like to say to say thanks for the good show. I'm not a very experienced boxer at the moment, but I certainly intend to the shape up and Danny on the next 12 months. So thanks very much for your support. I really appreciate it.
Howard Lee saying thank you. Keep punching. Back to our commentators, Brad McCarthy and Barry Michael. Good night from Century.
And thank you, Mr. Howard Lee, the premier of all announcers here in Australia. And of course, we'll just go through the card for the night, Barry Michael. Of course, we saw in the first fight Shane Brock make a spectacular professional debut by stopping a 2KO in the 2nd round over Tony Pappa, and it was a very good performance by Shane Brock.
Very good professional debut to beat a very experienced fighter in Tony Pappa. Shane Brock looks to have a big future. Tony Pappa, don't write him off. Hopefully we might see those two in a rematch down the track.
Oh, absolutely. And our second fight for the evening here on the Southern Storm Series at the Dandenong Basketball Centre, we saw Nick Lantouris back into the winner's circle again by a KO in the first round over an unheralded Steve Charles, but he was a kickboxer. He was gamed, he came to fight, but just didn't have the tools to take away the goods with Lantouris.
Stephen Charles was game, he came to fight, he looked relaxed, but he walked into a big left hook from Nick Lantouris that ended matters just before the end of the first round.
And then, of course, we went into the third fight, and we saw some spectacular skills from two remarkable young southpaws. Shane Kelly, the former challenger for the Australian Featherweight Championship. He defeated Danny Wilson on a unanimous points decision over 6 2-minute rounds. And Barry, that was a very, very good hard-fought contest. Of course, the skills were there, but the sportsmanship was lost a little bit, but they came back at the end of the fight.
They did, Brad. There was a few infringements by both boys early. Danny Wilson was getting frustrated because Shane Kelly is one hell of a hard man and nailed cleanly. I personally thought it was a great exhibition of boxing by Shane Kelly in particular. Danny Wilson wasn't disgraced, just fought, maybe outsmarted by a very fast-moving, hard to hit southpaw in a really good matched 6-2 minute round bout.
And then, of course, we went to the main support of the night, the semi-final over 6 3-minute rounds into the junior middleweight division. Matt Short, and he came up with a unanimous points decision over John L. Sullivan. And by golly, wasn't he a game character, John L. Sullivan, Barry?
John L. Sullivan was gamer than Ned Kelly, I tell you. He came to fight from the first bell to the last, but he ate so much leather, I tell you what, it wasn't funny. And Matt Shaw really boxed beautifully.
He put on the back move, and he did exactly what he had to do to win the fight, didn't he?
Exactly what he had to do. He used his reach and his speed, and he kept John L. Sullivan on the end of a right jab repetitively and combinations. John L. actually came good with a couple of left hooks in the last round or two, but it was too little too late, and he was well out-cornered. But a very game effort by John L. Sullivan.
And it was a good effort to get back into the winner's circle by young Matt Shaw. I know that Stuart Duncan, our promoter, has got a lot of faith and a lot of confidence in Matty Shaw, and I think he repaid a little bit of that tonight. And of course then the big one, the Victorian Super Middleweight Championship, and we saw the title change hands tonight, and one of the rising stars of Australian professional boxing, Daniel Porky Lovett of Cranbourne. He's a local young man from this neck of the woods. He captured the championship with a hard-fought unanimous points decision over the champion